Blessed love, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks for life and the mighty life giver. Holy Emmanuel I, King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. This is the African Liberation Network. I am the host, Honorable Prophet Daniel, and this is the Bobo Shanti International Study Group. Our topic for today is the second part of repatriation. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Honorable Prophet Joseph and allow him to say a prayer to open the program. My Lord.
Blessed love, my Lord. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie,
Jah,
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren and sisters to dwell together in love and unity. It's like the precious ointment that ran down to the beard, from the head even to the beard. Even Aaron beard and went down to the skirt of his garment, and as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descend upon the mountain of Zion. For there the Lord commanded his life, even love forever. So heal our God Selassie, Job, your God, Rastafari. For Almighty God, Rastafari, great and terrible God, Rastafari is the Almighty God. Yah who sitteth inside and reign in the heart of all flesh, O the most eternal Father, Job, your God, Rastafari. Hear us and bless us, O Lord, keep and sanctify us all, cause the holy face to shine upon us, thy children, that we shall be safe and redeemed. O the most high God, Jah,
Rastafari.
fill us with thy wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to do thy will, O the most mighty God. Let us work, let us watch, and let us pray, O the most mighty God. Repatriation with reparation is a birthright for all African people in the diaspora, O the most mighty God. It's 7, 9, or 13 mile cannot do it, 21 mile will do it, O the most mighty God. Let us work toward this redemption calling for all African children scattered in this Western world. Holy Emmanuel I,
King Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari.
Atolo, my Lord and Empress.
Honorable, give thanks, my Lord. Yes, honorable family, give thanks again for the study group. Give thanks for everyone's presence here in Zoom with us and watching in YouTube, now and in the future. As I stated earlier, the topic today is a continuation of our reasoning on repatriation. The EABIC stands to land every man, woman, and child under their own divine fig tree. And repatriation is the number one, action that Bobo Shanti are here to perform, salvation as well. Repatriation is a part of our salvation as African people, Zion is our home, Africa, like Jerusalem, Ethiopia, the continent of Ethiopia, Africa. And, through colonization, imperialism, the world is mixed up, plenty of people are living on stolen land, plenty of lands are being exploited by people who don't own and have birthrights to said land, and the world is in disarray because of the actions of the European imperialists, colonialists who, set out to conquest and take over, the places where non-white people were living peacefully. They brought us Africans from our homeland and brought us down here to exploit us for our labor in the Caribbean for sugarcane, and in America for cotton and tobacco, and in the South America also for other farming, and I'm not exactly sure what the cash crops were, but in general they built a whole world off of the backs of our foreparents, our foremothers and forefathers. The plantation life destroyed families, destroyed the concept of family for the African, and we still are, facing the symptoms, consequences of said slavery and disenfranchisement that our foreparents went through, and it never has been repaired. It never has been atoned for. There's never been any reparation given in a real true sense to fix the problem for the African. Other nations such as the so-called Jews have gotten plenty of reparations. They got a homeland which isn't really their home. And they still get paid, from certain governments every year for their Holocaust, which, was definitely a wrong, and they deserve what they get. But it just goes to show that if they deserve it, then we deserve it much more than they do, because we went through it much longer than they did. And we still don't have our homeland, We're still here in the West suffering, and the majority of I and I are poor and have nots, And so Black Christ, King Emmanuel, came to stand for the right of the poor and have not, the African children of the descendants of, the Africans who were put into bondage, slavery, And we are here to continue to agitate and to, develop ourselves and develop our Congress and continue to work towards, getting us back home, out of slavery, out of sin and out of shame, into salvation and into our homeland, our Zion on earth, So yeah, with that, that's just a little background information. We did reason, first week about the history of repatriation, some of the first repatriates, and how Rastafari took up the charge and the call for repatriation. And we did, begin to get into what King Emmanuel did towards repatriation. And we look to continue, to bring it right into where we are now, as far as our work and our development, our infrastructure towards repatriation, and what is it that we can do really practically to speed up the process to get us home. King Emmanuel himself was a staunch advocate for African repatriation, international repatriation, really and truly. And Marcus Garvey, said back, Africa for the Africans, those at home and us abroad. And, His Majesty reached out to us and let us know that we're blood brothers and sisters, and he knows that we have been taken away and brought here in bondage, So all of our Trinity welcome us and urge us to go home. And it's up to us, to continue that fight and never give up and never get weary on the battlefield as we're still fighting for justice, and it's not a justice for a crime that happened hundreds of years ago. It's a crime that continues to happen as long as we're in prison, in the Western world and can't escape because of poverty, Yeah, so at this time, I would like to read a message from King Emmanuel in the Black Supremacy book about repatriation, and then we'll, go from there. A message to the government of Jamaica on page 68 in the book I have. Prince Emmanuel, the Lord's servant, the Black Moses, our Redeemer. Holy Emmanuel, I, Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari. I stand for the fifth kingdom of Negus Christ, which stand for righteousness of salvation. I send telegram on April 17, 1979, telling you that King David has given I, Prince Emmanuel, a message to you all, that you are to deliver the people into my hand. The time has come now for you to do something for the suffering masses. I give thanks for your visit to Russia for the development of your country and your people. Sir, you could give up my people, that they find back their self under their own vine and fig tree. Black Africa. Africa is for the Black man and woman, the Black man and Black woman, those that born and unborn while they are Black. I'm waiting upon you a very long time now. You all could come to decision toward I and my people, redemption, freedom, international repatriation back home. Freedom of movement, freedom of traveling, free waterbed, and set we, the captives, free out of Jamaica. Open Freedom House, which is Gordon House, for there is a chair in there for I, Prince Emmanuel. Open Freedom Door, that I and my people could pass through with freedom of movement through United Nation bodies. All heads of government to send transportation for us all. international governmental, parliamental, out of your government through reform constitution, through human rights, through renewing of constitution. There was a delegation from I, Prince Emmanuel, to Minister of Justice, Honorable Paul Miller. In such talk, he said, all words are covered. You all do the right and set us free out of Constitution Reform International through United Nations Charter of Human Rights. International right come to bring equality and justice for all people, that birth equal of reincarnation. This is the fullness what I would love to show the world. Where is the poor and needy one right? Question. Who have such right for the people? Question. Asking the heads of the United Nations to fulfill these cause, to set up a right for the people. The God of light calling upon our heads to see these right come through with fundamental freedom, international redemption for the people, poor and have-nots. Repatriation international for those to return back under our own vine and fig tree, Black Africa. I would like the world to know that Black Africa is for the Black people in the world from birth. Black people is the foundation of the world unto this day. The truth has come when the Black people take up their culture of Black philosophy. No one teach us, we teach ourselves. Our right is international through Black Heart of Love. Calling upon the world now, why so much killing? Question. All these must stop now, for all that is national, bringing forth such brutality coming from Article 2, 3, and 4 of the Human Rights Charter. Bring forth equality and justice. Call upon United Nations now for these right with Psalms 68, 33, and 72. Africa must be history. Africa history must be Black. Britain must be history white, universal through human right. This is the time when no nation must have no tie in Black Africa, from Britain to UN, White House to receive their children also, Black receive their Black self. All nations must put up their guns and their battleships, for the world did not create with no gun or battleship. The world was created with love and justice, and we all have to come to one unity, as with one Black flowers of joy as before. We, the Black royal family, must return back home, internationally back to Black Africa from slavery. I am Prince Emmanuel, the Lord's servant, the Black Moses, worthy founder leader of the Ethiopian Congress government in Jamaica. Osai, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Give thanks for those words of our founder and leader, President God and King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, giving us our direction as a Congress, for Black people, our direction is east toward Africa, At this time, I would like to open the floor for reasoning. We have Honorable Empress Marina, who I would like to, kind of prompt, I guess. She is a repatriate, her and her king man, Honorable Priest Bud. They live in Ghana. Empress Marina is a practicing attorney in New York, but she, goes to and from Ghana and owns land there, and her king man lives there. And so, being that she's an attorney, she understands things from a legal standpoint, but also as one who, has made the move herself. She can give us some insight into the practical reality as far as, how easy, what are the challenges, what are some things that we could expect, but also when it comes to now agitating for the poor and needy, the ones who cannot afford to buy a ticket for themselves and their family. We would love to know, what is the prospects of, getting, the African governments to work hand in hand with governments of those, imperialist countries to get us back home. Yeah, so, ones and ones, feel free to share what you know, ask questions, anything you want to read and share, whatever. The floor is open, but the topic is repatriation. And this week we're talking about how, last week was what and when, and, all of those other things. But now we're talking about how. All right. So Honorable Empress Marina, blessed love. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, blessed love, my Lord, honorable.
Blessed Lord, Goddess, give thanks for life. Pray all is well with the I and family.
Yes, my Lord, give thanks.
Yes, I. So, to begin the conversation, I would love to ask, from the perspective of one who, has made the move and, is constantly going to and from, what is like, was there any illusions that you had before going to Ghana? And if so, what were they and what was the reality once you, reached there, Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So I had, set out some pointers as to what one would need to do in order to prepare
Okay.
for repatriation. But I can answer your question directly and upfront. Well, I thought that we would have been that our indigenous brothers and sisters on the continent would have been welcoming us with open arms, and that they were as conscious and as awoke as we are, as well, most of us are. But just like some of us in the West, we're not conscious, we're not awoke. You will find the same thing on the continent. And so that, I could say, was the biggest disillusion I had when I heard my indigenous brothers and sisters, staunchly defending Christianity. They're very steeped, and I'm speaking specifically of Ghana. They're very steeped in Christianity. They do not challenge the concept of the white Jesus. In fact, they glorify whiteness. And that was extremely disappointing to me. It was wounding. It was more than disappointing. It was deeply wounding to me. So that's one of the biggest wake up call I had.
That's a big one too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think in general, the way we view repatriation is kind of like we're going to be coming home singing and happy, and everybody's going to have open arms to receive us, and it's just going to be this joyous occasion,
And the reality is far from that. And so, as I said, I had prepared something to sort of outline as to, what I believe ones would need to do if they intend to repatriate. They have to ask themselves the question, do they want to repatriate? Can they afford to repatriate? Can they afford to not repatriate, right? So, events here in the West, I think, recently, the rise of white supremacy, coming now, we know it has always existed, right? Blatantly, but more, beneath the surface, more so beneath the surface. But now, people are they've been emboldened by the past president to come forward with their racist, ideology. They're pushing for a race war, a showdown, a conflict. So that may be a driving force in many of us making the decision once and for all that we need to leave this place and that we need to repatriate to our motherland of Ethiopia, Africa. So what I want to say is that if that is your plan, if you plan to repatriate, you need to start to do some research and decide which country you may want to repatriate to. Then you want to determine the requirements for gaining residency in that particular country. You're also going to want to look for language barriers, cultural barriers, things that may be a challenge, and see how best to navigate those. Then obviously you have to look at the cost of living, the exchange rate, the availability of certain types of services, such as schools, hospitals, and that type of stuff. Now, in terms of long-term plan, you should set up, it is my considered opinion that individuals should set up a separate repatriation fund, separate and apart from your ordinary operating expenses here in the West. You should set up a separate repatriation fund. You have to make it real, because once you start doing that, it becomes real, right? So if you have to trim your living expenses here in the West in order to facilitate your savings for Africa, then you need to do so. Sometimes you have to cut it down to the bare necessity. Then you need to start speaking to your children, if you have children, about, repatriating. depending on their age, that will determine the level of conversation you can have with them about leaving, the United States or the UK or Canada, Jamaica, wherever you are, and, relocating to a new place where, they're going to leave their friends behind, cousins, other family members, aunts and uncles behind, to repatriate to a new country where they, a different language is spoken oftentimes, and how they're going to adjust to those new, situations. They're going to be leaving a lot of, everything that they're familiar with, right? Too many children that I have seen, and I have found that too many children who repatriated with their parents, they actually grow to hate Africa rather than grow to love it. And a lot of times, I think it's because enough thought wasn't put into the planning as to how the children are going to adapt. And, in terms of attending school, getting the education that they need. So these are very serious issues that must be thought out clearly before making your ultimate move. Maybe too, you and your partner, you have to partner with someone else who plans to repatriate. Maybe here in the West, you can find another family who's also thinking of repatriating, and then you can combine your resources, right? You can help each other out in terms of, say, shipping a container, or buying certain items. You can buy in bulk. If you can find maybe a group of people, let's say 3-5 people, other families who are looking to repatriate, perhaps you can get involved in something like that, so as to defray your own costs and expenses, right? To offset some of it, because it's an expensive undertaking. It's not cheap. Mm-hmm. So you're just even thinking about airfare, thinking about, as I said, shipping containers. It's $4,000 or $5,000 to ship a container, or even more. And so that's why it may be worthwhile to get involved with another group of people, families, who are also considering repatriating to the same country that you are. And this way you can balance each other out. At some point also, you may have to discuss with your partner, if one of you should go, go on the land and start making preparation to facilitate the return of the remainder of the family. And a lot of times that is the best approach. It does bring with it its own set of, problems and challenges. But if you want to get this thing moving fast and quickly, somebody's going to have to go and spend some time there, a lot of time, to get things off the ground. Now, in terms of a short-term plan, I think individuals should plan to visit the country at a minimum. Visit the country, make contact with someone there, a diaspora who has already repatriated. That's critically important, because you're going to definitely need someone on that side who has already repatriated, who can take care of certain things for you, right? Maybe advise you in terms of land, in terms of the processes. How do I get settled? How do I get my residency status? How do I navigate all of these this new system? And and some very key people that you're going to need to meet in order to get work done. You may want to go and identify land, negotiate land prices. And another big thing is vehicle. You're going to need a vehicle. I cannot stress this point enough. You're going to need a vehicle. If you intend to do business in Africa, if you intend to get anything accomplished efficiently, you're going to need a vehicle, or you're going to need access to a vehicle. And it is best if, while you're in the States, you start putting aside your money for your vehicle, or even putting a down payment on a vehicle in Ghana. For example, we bought a Kantanka. The Kantanka is a Ghana-made car. And last March, we bought a Kantanka because we want to support the local economy. We want to support, this is a black company run by black people, Ghanaians. And so, yeah, we want to put our money in their pockets rather than in the pockets of Toyota, mm-hmm. Right? Yes, so, yes. So, we bought a Kantanka. We had another car prior to that, but we needed a pickup. And so we bought a Kantanka pickup. So what you can do here in the West, you can contact the Kantanka people and you can start making your down payment on the vehicle, even from here, mm-hmm. Because you're gonna need US money, UK money, Canadian money. You're gonna need Western money in order to buy a car. in Ghana because they don't have the type of financing that we are used to here in the West. They don't have pay down little or nothing and then spend the next 70, and financing over the next 72 months. That doesn't happen. You're going to have to pay for everything up front, or you're going to pay for, with Kantanka, you can pay more than half of the down payment, and then you have 12 months maximum to pay off the balance. So obviously you'd want to make the biggest down payment you can, just so you can reduce your monthly cost.
Okay.
That is my recommendation. Those are some of my recommendations. And one of the questions I know people ask, oftentimes is how much does it cost to live monthly? Well, it all depends on how you want to live. How do you live here, and how do you expect to live in Ghana? Because there are people who survive on as little as 300 Ghana cedis per month. That's what the average housekeeper gets paid.
How much is that in US?
About $50 US.
Wow.
About $50 US. And people survive on that, right? Nurses and teachers and police officers, they make more. They probably make the equivalent. I'm trying to remember now the last time I checked those salaries. But you can always check it online to see what the average teacher, but it's not an awful lot. It may be about $300 US a month or even less. I think that's being quite generous. And so, people, you can survive on that, but it's how do you want to live? What I also recommend is that, you start a farm. Now you're going to have to make a decision as to whether you want to live in the city or out in the country area. We live in the country, so we have a farm. So we plant corn, we plant rice, we plant, vegetables. So we have our living expenses, our food expenses is reduced by the fact that we get a lot of our produce from our own farm. And so that obviously affects our expenditures, our monthly expenditures. So these are some of the things that need to be considered. I mean, and in a very practical way, my Lord, because most of us, we really are laboring under this illusion that, as you said, it's going to be milk and honey. It's going to be this, sort of like a rapture. It's not. We're going to find that we have to create the Zion we want, because it doesn't exist until we create it.
Thanks, Empress, for the first-hand knowledge. We have a hand raised, Honorable Prophet Winston. My Lord, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Yes, Empress, I give thanks. For Mama same way, in the same way still. Give thanks again for the mother of creation, Give thanks again for life and love, my Lord and Empress. Yes, Empress, I give thanks for such clear and same for the eye. Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, Women's Freedom Liberation League. We stand for now, going in Ghana, we have documents where we go straight to the government, That's how the Congress set right now in the West. I don't think we're going to be coming in and, be fighting on a household level, We're looking to form a delegation to come into Ghana, Chupuisa Buna. And it's like Anna is a builder, a licensed builder, interior and outerior. I'm a lecturer, licensed lecturer, international, same. We have proven documents to go straight to the government, from King Emmanuel government to my government, NSVG, and then straight to Ghana government, so that we can start to dwell with even building a plywood house to bring in the elders them, We're meditating right now is to move some of the elders them from out of Jamaica and carry them to Ghana. So right now we're studying to save some funds and choose 7 persons to go in Ghana, along with a technician same way. Wherever country we have that reasoning same way in times to come after the 40 strong, so that we could start to prepare ourselves for going in Ghana. Because Bobo Shanti now, we're moving in a package, we're chatting in a package. So we want to get this thing in a package. We want to get this thing not just individual, but a team. you know, a skillful people to go home and build house and have the rights to the Ghanaian government. And I write him a letter saying, so you sure, and I say, and I must come in. And when I come in, and I will get rights and land and all these things that the president declares such word, song, and power same way, you know. So coming from this angle here, so same way, if we can get some of the elders them from Jamaica and certain ones and ones to build this team to go forward. Might be sometime in this year, the upcoming year, you know, depends on how fast you raise such funds and money, you know. So we're looking to stand up for not just for ourselves, but for Bobo Shanti and a collective which part we set up a workshop, even teach the youth and them in Ghana to do trade work, you know, set up a blocks, somewhere to build blocks so the youth and them can build blocks and all them things. Teach the youth and them the culture naturally, you know, physically and spiritually, you know. So we give thanks to the attachment with Mama Maisie, because Mama Maisie now open up certain roads for us to do certain work. So we can start to get ourselves together for going on a delegation, you know, so that we can do not just an individual home or individual families, give thanks to such power, but the cause of Bobo Shanti. It's for the cause of Bobo Shanti to get the salvation to the people them. You know, because we really come for the house and all these things, you know, we come for the people them. So occupy ourselves in the city. Even Niger Winston will go forward there, the priest and them say, and work because I have my trade. So I will turn over that money there as a builder and to the Congress to develop the Congress out of my own pocket because just show with them thing there. We are we own helper, you know, we self-helper, you know. So it's the meditation with the palm, but we give thanks to the clearance of the Empress and the works which she perform in same way within Ghana. So it's just a love now where we're using within the powers to develop Africa and develop the Congress because the main charter is the Congress, the Congress, because certain declaration, right? And the priest them show him, and if I can't fulfill it in Jamaica, I have to fulfill it in Africa. It has to go be a burden to it. So certain things have to done through the work King Emmanuel. And that is where I stand for, and that is where we trying to organize ourselves the fastest and the best way. I doing trade work. So I trying to stash up as much papers, as much money that I can stash up to go in and even carry in other ones and ones with us, you know. So we do give thanks again for such love, my Lord and Empress.
Mr. Love, may I respond, Daniel? If
Absolutely.
No, yes, that is the ideal that the brethren, Honorable Winston, that is the ideal, and that was the model. You know, many years ago, but apparently, you know, if it still remains the model, that remains to be seen because there is a Bobo Shanti foundation at Tafo, as you know, up in New Tafo in Ghana, and it has not functioned in the way that it was supposed to have functioned. In fact, it is dysfunctional. And that first set of brethren who went in, they were supposed to do what Winston is now proposing to do. And in fact, Priest Abuna used to live on that foundation. And none of those things have materialized. None of those things have materialized. In fact, the Bobo Shanti, they have, you know, we have gotten such a bad reputation in Ghana, up in Tafo. The people were very welcoming to us in the beginning, initially, but that the relationship has soured.
Pretty mama. I give thanks same way, and we see it. Ghana is a very big place. I live in Canada with my Empress.
Yes,
and
my lord.
Canada is a big place, and if Canada could so big, much says to Ghana. Now, I think the way we chatting it right now, we chatting it government to government. Because we have forget our rights to documents, and it allows for us to go into Ghana and set you over the Congress to the documents them and to put everything within the schools, contribute, even t-shirt and jerseys and books to the school. It's not everything we're looking forward for money, you know. We have to place ourselves within the love of them. So if we could give them at least 200-300 books or 200-300 jersey as a contribution to the school, then we can start to work ourselves. Then we can start to get ourselves known by them.
My Lord.
Our behavior, but our behavior matters too.
Mhm.
What, you know, our behavior matters. So when you go and you have people engaging in certain type of behavior, and Winston, I mean, I take what you're saying. I understand your zeal and I understand your optimism, but it must be countered by reality. The first time I went into Ghana, that was 2002, 2003, the first time I went to Ghana. I went there, I had just sold one of my properties in Florida, and I went there with the intention of making a $5,000 donation to the Congress up in Tafo. He said, not a brethren, he said, to me, Empress, not even because I hadn't even mentioned it to my kingman at that point yet, but I was talking to this brethren, and I said to him, you know, I want to make a donation to Tafo. He says, hold on a minute, Empress, before you do any such thing. Do you know what is going on up at Tafo? I said, no, not really, but I intend to speak to, you know, my husband, you know, the other, you know, priest Monica and them. But that is just my thoughts, what I was thinking to do. And then lo and behold, upon observation and, you know, information that I got, that would have been, I did not make the contribution after all, because it would have been a waste. There are people there, even, you know, some of the people who are supposed to be leaders who are drinking. Do you understand? No one going in and out of bars. Let me tell you, the standard, a lot of things, you know, you don't want to hear dirty.
I know, Mama. I know.
My Lord. Let the Empress finish, but we're not cutting each other
the
off.
reality, but honorable, you have to balance the reality. We went there and the behavior was bad. The behavior of some of the brethren were bad, including, you understand, some lewd acts with young girls. So, you know, you do not endear yourself to people when you go into their land and you start misbehaving, right? So we can, of course, we can make contributions, but it must be accompanied by good behavior, my Lord.
True, Mama.
Thanks.
So give thanks, Mama.
We had another hand raised. Honorable Prophet Inoja, my Lord, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Give thanks, my Lord and Empress, Prince and Princess. Give thanks for the blessed uprising. One heart of love. Holy Emmanuel, I. Yeah. Rastafari. Give thanks for, you know, this reasonment, which is a highly dignified affair for all people. You see it? I would just like to share this point from even the reasonment where you read out of the Black Supremacy book. This is how, if ones were listening to that, or if ones have the Black Supremacy book, you could see how King Emmanuel viewing repatriation, right? So I know, you know, of when he had the 1961, you know, Back to Africa mission, and that's stemming from the march from King's House when the brigadier dropped run. You know, it's stemming from all, you know, back a while. It's stemming from King Emmanuel as the crown champion of human rights, right? So the government tried to kind of rob the program of repatriation to say, let's form an African mission, right? So they had all type of organizations, you know, in Jamaica, you know, and they did went different places before the seat in Ethiopia. And one of the word was in Majesty say, Ethiopia is always open to the West, but Jamaica have to send the right people. Now, upon the affair of the Ghana, I'm not going to touch into that because that's very touchy. And I think we should kind of not focus on that day. But what could be done now is, because right now it still have Bobo in that same area, and it still have people who are ill feeling towards what happened, and it still have people who still looking up to I. You see it? My point is, you have many people I saw online. Even I live in Georgia, and I was fortunate to see a YouTube clip of a brethren who is in Ghana. There's a other angle also to get land. and it's going to work through chiefs. You see it? This is how the brethren do it. Now, the brethren, you could see he's a very wealthy man. He did go into Ghana. He did purchase about 300 acres next to river and all these things. He find that out through the people because of his, maybe, realms of personality. He got the link through a chief. But what he did, as we coming from the West, what he did is went to the government to kind of authorize it or certify it, right? That means say he have a deed now, saying just like, well, the chief who owned the land, according to indigenous rights, he went to certify it also. So he have that bubbling for him right now, and he leave links. And he did talk about the same thing what the Honorable Empress was saying. Not all one's gonna, deal with you with an open arm. We know that, we right here, we just see them right here. They live right here in America. You get some Africans that love you and some that don't. So the point of repatriation, what I'm saying is the way how King Emmanuel view it, right? He's not viewing it just for Black people. Repatriation means the Chinese man have to go back to China. You see it? So that's a great task. Even talking about reconstituting now. See, Babylon Constitution don't adjust at all. They don't adjust it for nothing. So that means they lay down certain things in writing and they sticking by it same way. But we have a constitution and we hear word of it have to be revised to fit what? To fit what? All we have to do, you got thing named when you try and you don't succeed, try and try again. So the first delegation that went, give thanks for what the accomplishment was. They did reach in there. They did have links with the government and the people. Yes, certain individuals, I can't speak for them, but of course their work speak for themselves. They were licking up. But for the man agenda, it still have to be continued, because if we want to really have repatriation the way how King Emmanuel said it, we must try his work to do, because him make sure that we land in Ghana, Ethiopia, Kenya, and all these places. I hope this is not offending no one with how I talk. I'm not going against the Empress, and I'm not going against the Honorable priest. I'm not going against the item. All I'm saying is Dada have his spectacles of how he see repatriation, and as Bobo Shanti, we must work towards that. Anything after that, there would be like a migration scheme, which ain't nothing wrong with it, because if you go on the other side of Jordan, you could show your brother how to get across. You see, that's how it's supposed to be. So,
Yeah.
my Lord and Empress, that's just my few words. Give thanks.
Give thanks, my Lord. Yes, that these earlier communications to heads of government, right? That was early in the development of the Congress. And over the years, from what I understand through reasoning with certain elders who was close to him and working for him governmentally, is that over the time, as we stated last week, he was like, he didn't really think he would be here this long, So while he may have said it one way in a letter in 1979, that doesn't mean that that's exactly how he viewed it in 1994. You know what I mean? And we don't need to be stuck in the past and holding on to things, in a kind of religious kind of way, like, that things evolve, times change. If Dada was here now, he might be doing things totally different, Maybe he would have said everybody try to set up some type of migration scheme because he realized these governments ain't budging, We don't know that. All we can do is go off of how things progress. It started out one way, and towards the end of his tenure in his office in flesh in Bobo Hill, is that what I understand is that he said, if you're looking to move to Jamaica, to headquarters from somewhere else, don't do it, just go to Africa. And I heard another Empress say, he told her, don't come to Jamaica, just look to Africa. So we hold on to certain things because of what we understand by reading books and reading and this and that and hearing different people's perspective. But when you hear the way the man himself actually looked at these things, it shows you that even though he might have said something 10 years ago, if he found out new information today, he would change his way of approaching the situation. So rather than us get stuck into holding on to what Dada said, how about this is me speaking, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but it's just my opinion and how I feel about it, is that maybe we should be also willing to evolve our thought and the way we view things, and not just be like, oh, well, Dada said it this way, so we must do it that way. Dada was for what makes sense, and we can see that his Congress grew. It started out with one name. Eventually, it had a totally, I mean, not totally different, but a very different name than what it started with. It started out one way, it grew and became another way. His views started out one way, and they grew to become something different as he analyzed what's going on in life. You know, he wasn't stuck into the Bible says this, so we must do it this way. No, he said, what makes sense is what we do. You know, I heard even the name, you know, Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. At first it was the African National Congress, and then it became the EABIC after a while, but then the COS got added on. The reason why it got added on is because some brethren had been sent to the seabed committee or something like that, and they were applying for something or paying for something, and they asked the brethren, y'all a church, right? You know, because they knew Bobo Shanti to be like a church kind of people. And he said, y'all the church, right? And he said, no, we're Congress. But they found out that the church gets different exemptions, you know, differently from business. So then the COS was, the Church of Salvation, was added on to the name. So that just shows you that Dada didn't just say what I say is right. He was one who would, you know, rectify things with decisively when necessary. So we too, you know, we are, you know, his children, and we have the Spirit of Christ inside of us. We don't have to look at, you know, any of our Godhead figures as though what they did or said is now just like, say, like law, so to speak. I mean, like things change, people change. They were people, you know, they grew and they evolved, and we also should continue to evolve and not be stuck in 1994 or 1979 or 1958 or whatever year it is that, you know, King Emmanuel said something or Marcus Garvey said something. We too can analyze things and make right decisions and say things that are right, and not need anybody else to verify or validate what we say or what we think and what we do. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents still. Joe Winston, you had your hand up, my lord, for some time. You can go ahead and speak.
Thanks, you know, cause the king say, when the thing modernize with the thing too, you know.
Yes, sir.
This is modern time, you know, and I think where the brethren said, Prophet Daniel said, I man give thanks to such word, you know, because now this is the time when Yeshua and I will do greater works even than him, same was still, you know. So we have to set this Congress in a which part, not just an individual thing, a thing which part we feel like, you know, is our thing, you know, but for the people, we have to go in and teach the people the salvation. We have to go to the schools them, and we have to edify. We have to put our feet, if we stand within any country that we stand as Bobo. We have to go there and show the people well, we are here, and we are Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, and we have to teach the people how we are living, how we are life, our principle, our behavior. You know, we have to show the people this thing, not just by just going in and, you know, live in a place where, yeah, we give thanks, and that is your place, and we give thanks to your presence, but we have to go to the people now, because we are Congress, you know, and that is what King Emmanuel wants us to do, to go and teach, because when we come, Bobo, he gave us a staff to go out there and teach, you know, and bring the people to the truth. So we're going for the people, so we're more agitating to live within the city, you know, more than to the mountain. Same, we go keep the Sabbath in the mountain, but the Congress have to set in the city. It have to right up in the city. So give thanks again for the word, my Lord and Empress.
Worthy, honorable. All right, Empress Marina, I see your hand. We have one hand raised, and then I'll call on the eye if you could just take a note and come
Yes,
forward.
my lord.
Yes, I. Honorable Prophet Jasit, my lord, you can unmute yourself.
Bless the love, my Lord Empress, Prince and Princess.
Honorable.
Heart of love. Blessed Empress Marina, heart of love, man.
Blessed love, my lord, honorable majesty.
Give thanks, heart of love. Give thanks to everyone on this study group, you know. Well, understand the reason yesterday still, you know, within, like, you know, when you come Africa, preparations have to be made. once a man looking to travel to leave the West or anyway to come home, to come like right now, we are putting in place under self-sufficiency and these things, you know. Understand what you're saying this still. But under repatriation, now we know that's a big topic because really international, this is an international thing, you know, because it has some poor people who can't pay for a ticket to say them can really like come home. Them got to wait on compensation, reparations, money out to Anna, you know, from since 1834 to 1838. Queen of England laid on 27 million pounds silver for every black man to get 500 pounds in the hand to return home. These things never really fulfill, you know, and we still out here suffering out here in the West, you know. Plus, to this thing now, we have some brothers and sisters who in prison too, who will have to get free too, because all prisons will have to fly open too. So this thing is a big thing, my lord. It's an international thing, you know. But it's a migration thing with migration, nothing wrong with that. Because once you can pay funds to go, you could go, my lord. But we need how your time set right now. Right now, we are watching practically. To leave any country right now, you have to be vaccinated. As a man who knowing God in this time, you really want to vaccinate your body, my lord. So to travel right now, we kind of hard on Adam Canarians. That's natural, right? That's natural. Because to leave, you have to vaccinate unless we come in one. That's why this thing we have to come as unity first. We got to come in one. Where we could have one voice. So when we call upon repatriation, the government will have to free up. You see, we must come in one voice. So unity is strength going forward with this repatriation thing still, you know. But repatriation itself is a big thing, my lord, you know. Yeah, that's a big thing. You know, that has to do with all head of governments who benefit from slavery, all who benefit from over the years, all them got to compensate with transportation, you know, 79 to 3 miles a ship because they benefit from slavery. So you see now, this thing is a big thing, my lord, you know. So just a few words for now and give thanks for the moment. Rastafari.
Give thanks for the high words, my lord. Honorable Empress Marina, pardon.
Yes, my lord. Right. I want to second your statement regarding the need for evolution, for us to evolve in our thinking and to adapt to the current situation, right? That's part of intelligence, learning how to adapt to new situation. That's how you survive, right? Learning how to adapt. Anyway, what I want to say is that once again, we have our ideals. The way we were as Rastafari, the way we were taught about repatriation, it was going to be big, it's going to be glorious, it's going to be almost miraculous. It is anything but that. The reality is completely different. There are, and once again, I'm speaking specifically of Ghana. There are groups of people in Ghana who do not want to see us come home, right? They do not want to see us gain citizenship in Ghana. They fight against it. The government is walking a fine line. They have to balance the needs of their citizens, their indigenous people, and our demands coming in from the West. So we must employ diplomacy in a situation like this. You know, we can't go with our arrogance. We didn't pay for leave, so we now pay for come back. We never, you know, permission, you know, we don't need any permission to come back to our home. And, you know, that is very idealistic. But the reality on the ground is something else. The government of Ghana is walking a very fine line. They must appease their constituents, which is their indigenous people, and at the same time try to accommodate us. But remember, once again, as I had said earlier, that not everyone is as forward thinking, as progressive, as conscious as we are. So they're coming from a completely colonial mentality. And you'd be shocked to find out that people there are even sometimes even more provincial in their thinking than we are in the West. And you would think that we were the ones taken away and enslaved, right under the boot of the white man, and that these people never left their home country. So they have their indigenous culture. They have all of that as protection, but sometimes you'll find that they are even more brainwashed than we are. And as I said, that was one of the things that shocked me the most, at just how westernized and how they aspired to leave, you know, Africa and come to the West, rather than recognize the benefits and the joy of being in your own country. not under white man rule. But that even that very concept of not being under white man's rule is challenged by the reality that we see on the ground. That most of the big corporations in Ghana are run and owned by foreigners, Chinese, Lebanese, Europeans, Indians. So these are some of this, these are some of the things. That's the reality on the ground. We have Lebanese getting citizenship faster than us from the diaspora, and when we question it, you know what we are told? We want everything for free. The Lebanese are willing to pay. Well, Lebanese will pay and pay big money, and we want everything for free. So you see, so we have to educate these people to let them know that we stand in a different position from the Lebanese. We are not the Lebanese. We are your sons and daughters returning home. The Lebanese are merchants. They are business people. They're coming there. They have commercial interests alone in Africa. Our interest in Africa is this is our homeland. This is our motherland. Our interest in Africa is familial. It is not commercial. And so we have to teach that lesson. Now, I want to say also that I am an integral part of the conversation, the discussion regarding the Homeland Return Act, which was just proposed. It just came out of the last year, the Parliament of Ghana, the Legislation Return Act, which they have they've given to us, the diaspora Africa community in Ghana and beyond. Because I've seen where it was sent also to England, and I don't know if are you aware of it? Are you aware of it, Prophet Daniel?
I'm not. No.
No, I'm going to send it to you because I was very instrumental in helping to mark that up. Once they gave it to us, they gave us a draft of what they had in mind, and so I had prepared comments, sort of making recommendations on each of the provisions. One of the things was for us to get a proper definition for what is an African diaspora. What does it mean to be an African diaspora? That is something that has that's quite it's very nebulous. It's quite elusive, and we need to be clear on that. What that means, because it can simply mean that a white person who was born in Africa and is now living outside of Africa is also a diasporan, and it cannot mean that, right? So, but one of the most there are a number of things, and as I said, I'll send it to your email because I worked on the draft along with a group of other people. But because of my background in immigration law, as you know, I am uniquely qualified to really comment and to work on this, a document like this. And so, and in fact, the Ghanaians recognized it right away because I was not part of the original group. But as soon as I came on board and I started making certain points, they acknowledged that this is a woman that we need to be speaking with. This is one of the people who's key, because I brought forth some points that, if you're not familiar with this area of law, then you wouldn't be able to sort of discern some of what needs to be done. One of the things now that I've taken issue with, and that is a sticking point for me, and I have I think I belabored that point with them, is that they have something called a prohibited immigrant. They classify some people as a prohibited immigrant, and according to them, any person falling into the category of a prohibited immigrant is disqualified for any benefits under the Homeland Return Act. And this is very concerning for me because it talks about people who have been convicted, right, of a crime, and who has served a prison sentence of a year or longer. Such a person would be disqualified.
Wow.
That is very, very, it's alarming. It's it's very concerning. And so that is something that I have spoken on and I have written on. Once again, I'm going to provide you with a copy of the document that I marked up and the comments that I made, particularly as it pertains to that provision, because so many of our brethren would be excluded. Can you imagine that? Would be excluded by virtue of this provision alone. A prohibited immigrant. A prohibited immigrant shall not be permitted to enter Ghana. And so I said, no, we need to provide some context. What you have here, you have people who are coming out of a racist system in which blackness itself has been criminalized, in which you know that there is over-policing in Black neighborhoods, in which you know that there is inequality in the criminal justice system, in the US, in the UK, in Canada, throughout the West, even in Jamaica, right? It's who you know and your contacts and so forth and so on. So poor people tend to get criminalized much more often than wealthier people. And in the United States, it's strictly a black and white issue. So then how then can you use, and what I've asked is that the government of Ghana does not use as a criteria for entering into Ghana the criminal record of an individual alone, but rather to look at the totality of the circumstances, given the racist history of policing and, you know, in America, and law enforcement in the United States. You cannot, we need to provide context for them and to say, well, listen, a person who gets arrested for stealing, right? Those are economic crimes. Stealing is an economic crime. So, you know, for a person to be disqualified from being allowed to enter Ghana on the basis of a criminal conviction for a theft, let's say, or embezzlement or fraud or whatever, it is a travesty and it must be looked at. I have said, I did not say this in my papers to them, but the concept is this: a Jew will not convict a Jew on the word of a Nazi. And Black African presidents, right, and prime ministers must not disqualify from admission into their country individuals, Black African, they're Black African brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Do not disqualify them on the testimony of a white man, on the criminal history that that person has accumulated in a white country where you know that discrimination is rampant, where you know that we were enslaved, where you know that the Black codes were imposed on us, where you know that Blackness itself was criminalized. Just to be walking, you know, just to be walking as a Black man on the street is not safe. So how then can you rely on the criminal record accumulated, right, in a country that hates Black people and then use that to disqualify your Black brother and sister from coming home? In fact, it's all the more reason you should try to take him out of that condition that he's in. He's under heavy oppression. Yes. All the more reason. Now, if you want to talk about certain types of crimes that you may find particularly heinous, let's just say you talk about rape. But even with that too, you have to be careful. Because, for example, there was a Black kid many years ago, a Black kid down in Georgia, where the age of consent is 18. And he was 18 years old, and the white girl that he slept with was 17. And he was prosecuted for rape because she was underage, right? And so this kid now, for the rest of his life, he had to register as a sex offender. I mean, they went all out against this little Black kid, but they were offended by the fact that he slept with a white woman. And so that's why they brought the charges, because young people sleep with each other all the time and they don't get prosecuted. In fact, some states, they recognize something known as the Romeo and Juliet exemption, where, for example, in New York does not officially recognize the Romeo and Juliet exemption. However, if a 19-year-old man, a boy or man in New York, a 16-year-old girl, because the age of consent in New York is 17. So if a 19-year-old boy in New York is with a 16-year-old girl, they are likely to not prosecute it as long as it wasn't forcible, because what they do is that they make an accommodation to say, all right, if you sleep with someone under the age of consent, but the age difference between you is like 4 years or less, they're inclined to not prosecute it. Because do you understand that the DA's office, the various DA's offices in New York, in Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, that is all their time would be taken up with if they were going to prosecute these types of crimes with young people sleeping with each other, people who go to school together. So once again, if the Ghana government were to rely on something like that, or to make a blanket statement, no one who has been convicted of rape. So that little kid now, this 18-year-old kid, down in Georgia, right, who slept with a 17-year-old girl. Would it be justified for such a person to be considered a prohibited immigrant, someone who would not be allowed to enter Ghana?
Yes, I give thanks for that reasoning and the context and everything, because that's a big thing to consider. You know, there's a lot of people that are in prison for crimes either they didn't commit or crimes they didn't really have too much options, and circumstantial and all of these things. So, you know, so I give thanks for sharing that input, Honorable Ms. Marina.
One other important point too, because they mentioned about drug conviction and things like that. And I asked in my comments to the Homeland Return Act, I asked that marijuana not be classified as a drug for the purposes of the act.
I'll give thanks.
That's one of the things that I asked in my comments. Once again, Daniel, I'm going to share it with you so you can see my thought pattern. You can see, you know, right, where I'm going with this.
Yes, I give thanks, Empress. We had a few hands raised. We have Prophet Winston, Prophet Inoja, and Empress Cindy. Prophet Winston, there I can unmute thyself and speak, my Lord.
Give thanks again, Empress, for the word same. Give thanks again for the clearance, you know.
Honorable Majesty.
Yeah, man. Bobo Shanti, love same way to the same way, you know, in Ghana same way. But this study, enough things are for fulfill even in Jamaica. When I say repatriation, enough things are for fulfill. Because when Selassie I pay 1892 and out, Jehovah fulfill Revelation 5 and sit on the throne of David. And Emmanuel come now still for fulfill it now for sure, the world repatriation. We must return same way, you know. And whatever we're doing here right now is for the development. Because the man say if you come great in Africa, you come great all over, you know. So we're trying to reach home, even set up a workshop to teach the youth and them in Ghana, carpentry and Jehovah's architectural drawing and all these things, you know. So that will give us more access, rights and ability and good faith and ways to prolong within Ghana, you know. So it's more the youth and them we're trying to agitate to come in Ghana. We love the Bobo them same who they in Ghana and doing certain things, you know, straighten up themselves. Right now, it ain't no time for, you know, no one to really even say anything. Because anything that you do as a Bobo, it pertaining to the Congress, you know, and it pertaining to Black people especially, you know. So now we're in time for certain things. And another thing about the imprisonment of ones who get locked up. Within slavery, where we there's a prison within. All small island is prison. You know, so them can't justify the prison and trying to keep us out, Jehovah's, because, you know, man may get locked up for 10 spliff, a man may get locked up because he and another brethren in sort argument. You can't justify him and keep him out of Ghana. Because Haile Selassie I done set the red, gold, and green in Ghana, and King Emmanuel set the tabernacle in Ghana. So Ghana is the gateway, you know, so we must return. But we give thanks again for the faith and the words and the love. Stay strong and be strong over there. And I don't know, Jehovah's how it go already. You know, ones we're going and still, you know, put themselves in some serious position and put the Congress also in some serious position too. But we're trying, you know, we're going to try to see if we can get it clear up, you know. Because I say, this year shall reveal unto the third and the fourth generation of them, you know. So this is the youth and them now say we rise up now to come fulfill certain works in Ghana through even education, a language too, you know. So let we come together same with the love and fulfill certain works and even meet there within the future. And for the vaccination, I lecture in the college. I don't even test. I don't even test nose test nothing, and I lecture. I don't even take vaccine, and I lecture because that is my right. That is the letter where the Congress sent to the college, you know, and that is my right, you know, as Bobo Shanti, you know, I have that right. So I know I can travel to any country without having to take a vaccine, and I can reach Africa without a vaccine, you know, because that is my right. King Emmanuel gave I the right. And if my Prime Minister could acknowledge Bobo Shanti letter You know, I think all the prime minister in the world will acknowledge it same too, you know. So I do give thanks same. So it was a clearance we rising for Bobo go home, you know, and for black people have something within Africa, even in business, you know, even in business, in sewing, even in everything, we must be there, you know. So I give thanks to the love mama. Stay strong. I hope, you know, all the future and all the best for the ICM Indian. They don't know forgive. Because the man sin order forget forgiveness, you have to forgive. So the brother and them the Indian set the road sort now. You overs, we forgive them same way, but better days are coming same way, you know. So we holding firm still, we coming in, we ain't giving up, you know. More love and strength.
Yes, God. Give thanks, my Lord. Sure. Honorable Prophet, I know Jah, and then Honorable Empress Cindy. Prophet, I know Jah, I can unmute thyself.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress, repatriation now.
And
I'm going to start by saying this. Now, in the Virgin Island, the U.S. Virgin Island, I think it was around the year, I think it was 2005, 2006, the Ghana government come with a project named Joseph Project. Yes, Joseph from the Bible. Now, this project was to show that African descendants, because they are saying at that time, and I want to look into it because I ain't just talking words like I just making up an illusion. I want to get that clear. There's a document and there are other priests that are familiar with this. Now, what they were doing at that time was saying, hey, people, which of course they have to come to the government first, which is a United States government. They are saying people with skills, you could come home, you'll be exempt from visa and all of these things. Come home, those who have skills. The government of Ghana is saying, we are willing to aid you to come and help with their building, right? Sure. Cut that part, you know. Now back into this thing, you know. I notice amongst us, we get this kind of fight. King Emmanuel is one man. You know, 3 man, he's one man, right? And it seemed like this. When we speak about King Emmanuel, right? I have to iterate this here. John Henry Clark say, the past, present, and future is one current event. Because if we look at the world today, which is Babylon, they are following the same old tactics. All they are doing is improvising to hold we down. So when I talk about the king's house and the Bacawal, I was referring to, you could see how Emmanuel level up to the times. Emmanuel reached the 21st century. All right. That was not saying that we stuck in the past, because to say things like that is kind of like really offense, you see, because the past, you ain't gonna get no present. And without the present, you ain't gonna get no future. And if you don't understand that day, you're gonna be stuck in this time. So in the reality is, repatriation is the topic, right? And data say freedom, redemption, international repatriation. It takes willing hearts to even want to go and dedicate their life, sacrifice their life to look into matters where they true law or where they true just living, to go and see. That's why I mentioned the Bridging. The Bridging is from Georgia. I had a drive truck. He drive truck too. So it inspired me. The man is a bald head. The man is a Rasta. But it inspired me to see a black man went to Ghana and sharing his information. He did speak about the same thing the Empress said. One thing and welcome you with open arms. That's just how that set of people stay. But you have those that love us and they do rituals, woman, to see the children come home. So those are the ones we're trying to connect with, the others who want to stuck in white Jesus and whoever else hold on by. We're not into that. That a set a program, right, where you could clearly see it was effective. We now who coming after aim for mash up that or crumble that or dash it way is to build upon it. He laid the foundation and we could build upon it and perfect it. I cannot talk about the bridging them because I don't know them, man. I heard the ill story, hurt me personally because I am just a one coming up in the order who trying to make it home. I personally, you know, of course, any individual, you know what I mean, would want to see the glory of who you are and where you're from, you see it? So that means we have a duty to do as individuals to kind of make it home. So give thanks for those who, I know enough man, Bridget, man from St. Croix, Bobo, Shanti. They in Ghana, but they ain't really, I gotta say this and point out there, they in Ghana and done established, but is it effective for us as a whole? For the said, as the man say, the man on the sidewalk, the comb head, the fry head, is it effective? Hope we could get information. You know, I have spoken to empresses in South Africa and Tanzania. You see, they saying Rasta too and all. But the way how they saying Rasta, it come like a really illusion in the sense of Rasta to them is just a way of life, like a change of clothes. So we could see clearly, even though they might have that perspective, they have something deeper where we know who coming forward, do the things like what Dada do, link with the government. Find, first of all, to me, if I was to go, I want to have relations with the people because the people them know the land. Don't think they don't know nothing. They know how to build to and all of these things. You know? You see, the people them is what gonna point we in the right direction. Now, of course, I understand. I listen to the Empress. They do have ones don't care about we. They see we as fringy or foreigner, and they think we come to protect them woman. They think we above them. That's because of the white supremacy propaganda that gets set over there. You see,
Sure.
and it gets some of us over here too, who looking at them like, oh, they don't know nothing, and they backward. Who them man, they know what the mountain of gold and diamond is though, and platinum and uranium. They know what part it is, and they know that secret, you know. And they not tell nobody unless they know this is the right person and right people for hand that it over to, you know.
Sure.
So I want to take up too much time, and I don't want to sound offensive to no one. I love all of the item and the
Love my
sister
lad.
and impress them, and let's just, you know, heal one another in the sense of share the information, because
Sure.
I know Bobo over there, my lad. You know what I mean? I see they have right there on YouTube Bobo over there for like 20 something, 30 something years. But is it effective for me out here? Who might I say like, okay, man, we making some money. Could I have information? I have to watch white man on YouTube telling you it costs him 20 something grand to build this house and buy this land. And he sure you ain't gonna land tax neither. Only in certain areas. But now they're bringing in all of that westernized world vibe over there right now. You see, land tax and all of these things. You see, my Lord and Empress, give thanks. Ja,
Oh, my Lord, Rastafari. I give thanks, Prophet. I know, Jah. Nothing you said is offensive, my Lord. We just hear the reason, you know. Nobody should be offended because we're not insulting nobody. We're not being mean to nobody. We just sharing opinions, and that's all reason.
Just love,
you know.
they just love my lad. They just love.
Growing, you know. So yeah, sometimes we differ in viewpoints and opinions, but that's all right because we all have a different spectacles and we're all entitled to our own thoughts, you know. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to apologize or nothing like that, my Lord.
Oh, my lad is love. It's love.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Honorable Empress.
Give thanks.
Yes, God. Honorable Empress Cindy is next.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress.
Blessed love, Honorable.
Yeah, I would like to add that I was in Ghana in 2007 for the 50th anniversary. I was there doing some research on naming ceremonies around Ghana. We went to Georgia and we visited the slave castles, Elmina and the one in Cape Coast. And one of the things that I found to be kind of shocking while I was over there is that there's a name that they call white people. And that name is Obruni. And Obruni basically is just a white person, but it's not just a white person by, you know, what we define as white. It's also a Black person born in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked people, why do you call us Obruni if, you know, this is where we come from? They said, because there's many Ghanaians, and I'm sorry for saying this, that are ignorant, and they don't know the history of slavery. They don't know why, you know, there's a slave castle. They don't know what took place in those dungeons many, many years ago. So you can go to these slave castles and the community surrounding those areas have no idea what went on there. And another thing I would like to add is that I fully agree in terms of what Empress Marina spoke about. some of the difficulties it is with, traveling to Ghana. I believe that we all should repatriate to Ghana, but I think you should do your research before you go over there, because I was even speaking to a brethren of mine yesterday, and he lives just a few minutes away from a tabernacle in Kofodia, and he was telling me how in Ghana that if you're a Rasta or if you have locks, that's something that they really look down upon. And he and his own family, his father despises him because he has locks and stuff like that, and he believes in Rastafari and all that. So suffice it to say that I wanted to say that we shouldn't, have this kind of like fantasy of when we go to Ghana, everything's going to be all hunky-dory, because it's not like that once you touch the ground there. I saw a lot of images of even on walls and stuff like that, skin lightening for success. And, these taxis and stuff like that would have these images of this quote unquote white, Jesus that, that you would see, and people, think that that's normal. The Ghanaian people think that this is normal. And it's just something that we really need to look more into, because we love Ghana, yes, but when you get there's a whole different thing. And even too, my brethren was saying that if you want to like rent property and stuff like that, if you're not from there, sometimes Ghanaians would take advantage of you if you have locks, and if you don't really know the economy like that or the real estate market over there, they'll try to play with you because you don't know what's going on. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Give thanks for the time.
Give thanks for your input, Honorable Empress Marina. I see, and we got two ahead of the eye, then we'll call on the eye. And after Empress Marina speaks again, I would like to transition the reasoning forward into, some ideas about work that can be done, things that we could bring so that we look like we're coming with a strength. If we are, like the Empress said, even originally, it's good to move with a team, rather than just one family, one group. It should be, it's best to do it with a few different families or a few individuals and have a plan and work together. So I would like to see what we can come up with as far as like, what are some ideas, what are some things from experience, what are some things that's already happening that we could come and present ourselves as a strength to whatever country it is that we intend on going to, because that would make it a lot more appealing to these governments that we're looking to, come and seek residency and citizenship. So first I'll call on Ja Winston and Priest Kareem. And we have Honorable Goddess Akosua, who is living in Ghana with her family. She has little ones, she's a tailor, a seamstress, designer, etc. So we would like to hear from the Honorable. So we'll call on Ja Winston, Priest Kareem, and then Empress Marina, and then we're going to transition the reasoning into a next set of points.
Well,
Ja Winston, my lord, you can unmute.
Well, Emmanuel,
Selassie,
Rastafari. Give thanks again for the royal, honorable priests, prophets, my lords and empress, princess. Again, you always have to give love to the princes and princesses, them too as well. Give thanks again, Honorable Ja Winston Empress, Empress Danka. Giving thanks again to the royal delegation, to Mama Marina, essentially, or Honorable Empress Marina, Honorable Empress Cindy, and all other Empress of the Woman Freedom Liberation League too as well, who's searching for strength too as well. In terms of the repatriation, ones will say the ones who are repats, in the West, that's what they call it too as well. The ideas that I have now, there's a lot of transparency that's needed with Congress and even ones just in Rastafari in a whole. And in terms of the Congress in a statical state of mind, because there's so much transparency needed, my meditation has always been in a way where materials is the best way to go about it. all of the I can put materials together, like how the Honorable just reasoned about. There's an empress who is actually, well, I have a different meditation in terms of designing and seamstress and so on and so forth within that career of standard. Once ones know the actual technical side of it, there's different levels and areas where the industry is really wide. There's a seamstress, there's a designer, there's the drafter, there's so on and so forth. So it's not just actual sewing. There's different areas where it can full span. So in that case, now you're buying materials like the pens, the paper, the material, meaning the actual notions, buttons, all them things that ones can put aside and buy, even if it's for $5 a yard, give thank, that's on sale, you put it aside. It may not be within the industry that you're in, but you're putting it aside for your brothers and sisters that want to repatriate within that way. So all of the ANAC should be coming together as a collective, whether inside the Congress or outside the Congress, to do these things. So once we hear one of the INI is going in and able to go in, right, through the gateway of Ghana, right, we can say, okay, well, she's an empress that's, is a seamstress, a designer, so on and so forth. Well, we put aside these materials that we saw on sale, right, to put towards that repatriation area. The same thing it will go for the Honorable, like someone like the Honorable John Winston. We purchase lumber, within either, Africa, because you can't really take out of Africa, you have to leave it there, you buy lumber, you purchase the lumber, you can go online and do it. You can find different ways of doing it, even for ones who's already builders in there too as well. So, there's many ways of going about it where, there are a lot of ones within the Congress and outside the Congress who are very skeptical of sending papers to just anyone, but materials is the best way to actually show that transparency and start that actual part of trust with each other. So, so that's just the actual small reasoning of my meditation that I have within that transparency, where ones-on-ones, when ones-on-ones are reasoning about migration, meaning by themselves, yeah, you can do that. But as a collective, you would want to start with that transparency, and that transparency is to actually, purchase in material, so that you're strengthening not just that one individual, but you're strengthening an industry. So when you're going in if you go in as a migration or as a collective, you're going in very strong because those materials are already there, because you've come together, right, and purchased these things as a collective and not as just a migration type of individual. Give thanks again, Honorable my Lord, Empress, Prince and Princess, priests and prophets. Give thanks again for the Woman League too as well. Bless and sanctify. I'm handing the reasoning over to Honorable John Winston because he has also something to say. Blessed love.
Blessed love. Give thanks again for the woman of rights, same way, The goddess of the earth, same way, Thanks again for life and love. Yes, also, we're talking international Congress, we're talking international ways and behavior. We're talking like reading architectural giant, setting up factories to sew clothes, setting up factories to teach them carpentry, carrying in heavy tools and all these things, but not just for us, for the Congress. Everything that we're doing, we contribute to the Congress, I live in the West. The only work I do is Selassie. I work Emmanuel, work Marcus work. I don't work with Babylon, So it's like I lecture, I teach, Rastafari, free of cost, to cost, salvation is free, So we as a Congress now, we have land. We're looking to open up our workshop here, set our workshop and start to send furnitures, like bedroom set, luxury and all these things to the stores them. So that we could have a stronger papers and a bigger business to come in, because it's just the Congress. Everything we do is just for the betterment of the Congress. So if we reach in Africa, we whole life is the Congress. Everything is the Congress. So we can put more effort into it, not just by, as the Empress said, by the money, raw money, but by actually things that we need to set ourselves. If ones can contribute for $10,000 in material, when we reach Ghana, Jehovah's, we take the $10,000 material, we do a lot of furniture, we open our own store, we hire our own people, because I have that quality there, you know. So when we reach in them areas, you know, we started bringing people to work with them own self, you know, like feeling like they may miss the West, them at home. You know, so this is the charter, and I meditate every day, same. I give thanks to the world, my Lord and Empress.
Honorable, give thanks, my Lord and Empress. Calling on Honorable Priest Kareem, my Lord. You know, unmute yourself.
Worthy. Blessed love, royal family. Give thanks and praise, you know?
Lord.
For the new day, for the, you know, the beginning of the 6 days labor, you know, our prosperity, our divine providence throughout, heart to love one and all, my Lord and Empress, Prince and Princess, you know, give thanks for the black dictator of repatriation, Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari.
Bless the love, my Lord.
Honorable. Yes, my Lord and Majesty, give thanks for the topic of repatriation still going through. You know, it never ends, you know, until it is done in totality, you know. Give thanks for everyone who reason, and give thanks for all, you know, the good inside share same way too. Everyone have a piece to give, you know, and we put it together to make a beautiful picture. So yes, my Lord and Majesty, I call upon all the government them in Africa, you know, from Ghana straight through, you know, all around to Morocco, go all down to the bottom of South Africa there, I should say the top of South Africa, you know, give thanks, you know, that all them should remember, say that we was a people that was taken away. You understand? We never asked to come out here in the West. We didn't ask for this, you know, and you see we still down here brutalized. We never asked for the mashup what them do to we through colonialism, imperialism, what them put inside of we. We never asked for all these things, you know. So why should we have to go through so much trouble, you know? Like we have a special criteria that we need to come home. We don't need that. They should see us and recognize us as Africans. You understand? That even, you know, our ancestors, their ancestors, even took part in helping the slave trade to happen, you know, and that we end up out here. So they should open their gates freely for us to come home. Every black man and every black child in the West and in the diaspora, you know, we're supposed to be freely allowed to come home. And it shouldn't be just some business proposition for them to make money, as them going to be the same colonialism, imperialism we're going. It shouldn't be just like that. The gates must open for us to be free. The 2021, 2019, 2021, they call it the year return, but when we check it out, it's just a bunch of carnival and Nollywood and Gollywood business there was their pan. You know, it was all a money making scene. You understand? The man say the love of money are the root of all evil. We black people, we in the West, you know, who want to come home, we should be allowed to come home freely. Give thanks for, you know, the repatriation program set by King Emmanuel same way. And give thanks for the work done by everyone, you know, not just members of the Congress, but ones who desire to go home, you know. Not because I may not have a certain skill set or a certain trade. That shouldn't be a criteria for me to be able to make it into the land. You understand? Yeah, that shouldn't be a criteria. I should be able to be free for go home in my land, because maybe there's something else that the land need me there for same way too. You know? So we as a people, we have to really look at this thing, you know. Give thanks for ones and ones who go in, you know, everyone who have, you know, great ideas for development, same way too. But we not just go for develop the society over there, because we have to remember, say them still on the colonialism, imperialism too. You know, them still wear the same weave, them still do the same bleaching, them, you know, and them still do the same oppression of Rastafari children same way too. So them have to educate the people, the government have to realize and educate them people same way too upon the reality of the thing, and stop work for the Queen of England and stop work for the EU, stop work for them people there, and start deal with the OAU, really and truly, you know, and unite the African Free States them as His Imperial Majesty had a desire for them to do, you know? Yeah. So another
I'd like to speak, my lord.
Okay.
It's ready.
Yes, sir.
It's my time.
Majesty. Blessed love, Empress Maisie.
Yes. Blessed love, Royal Angel. Blessed love.
So give me one moment there. Let me finish up, and then Jordani will deal with Majesty.
Yeah, she just don't know how to raise the hand. That's why she wasn't interrupting really, my lord. Just go through whatever you gotta say. Yeah.
Yeah. So we here in the West now, we have a camp yard. You understand? And once may feel like it is not much right now because of everything we're going on with the camp yard over the years. My lord, each one of we individually, as a man, as a woman, we have things that go on in our life. But that don't make we less of a person. We try to better ourselves so we can, you know, reach to higher levels. So our camp yard reflects our state individually same way too, because it is our Congress, you know. There is the foundation of our Congress in the West. I wouldn't ask no one at home, you know, to leave from home in Africa to come to the West to help us in the camp yard. No. The same way that we need to organize our camp yard so we can organize our livity and the way we will approach Africa and go and set ourselves in Africa, the same way the man over there need to organize over there, you know, to receive us, you know. Give thanks for ones like, you know, Honorable Priest Jack Given over there in South Africa. You know, even before the man was officially crowned prophet, priest, you know, the man was putting in the works and trying to get the governments going towards the embassies and stuff, trying to organize them to lobby our cause, our case, you know, of freedom, redemption, international repatriation. And for some reason at that time, because he was not official crown prophet or priest, you know, he was discouraged from doing so, you know. But give thanks, you know, that the man get his official crowning now. And, you know, I pray that he could continue the work same way too. And I call upon my family, you know, all my Bobo Shanti family, Black Royal family in Africa, you know, Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, all over, you know, to come together and organize. The same way me call upon everyone here in the West to come together and organize, you know, because the camp yard is a place that we have to rally to, you understand? So we can really set up and work together. We are being away from the camp yard and scattered. Give time for every man have his choice, you know. And we can't force no one to do nothing. You see it? But being away from the camp yard, seeing the state that the camp yard is in, you understand? It's like we have a bicycle or a car and the tire get a flat and nobody wants to air it up, you know, so we can move along again. You understand? And it's very important for we to do this because where we there, we scattered about, you know, every man have his business, you know, his own business, and maybe that's why you don't want to do it because it seems like it's a little thing, you know, and you don't need no help to do that. I don't have a business over here, and me don't have my thing over here, and me don't have my money, and all these kind of things. The rich young ruler, Christ tell him, sell everything you have. Sell everything you have and give to the poor and come and follow me. And he couldn't do that, you know. And Naaman, when the prophet tell him, dip in the Jordan River 7 times, dip in the Jordan River 7 times and get a healing, he was like, what stupid is this man to tell me? What dirty river you tell me if I go dip myself in the 7th time and so much clean river around the place? The crazy hour, you know. And his servant have to show if the man did tell you go and do some great thing, you know. If the man did tell send upon some great rescue mission or something, you know, or to conquer some kind of kingdom, you would have go and do it. So why you can't do that little thing there, you know, where it's so important for your healing. You see, that little thing where you despise is so important for your healing, you know, the healing of your nation and everything, and you don't want to do it. You see? So this is where the faith stand, you know, and the test of time My lord, we have a rallying point here in the West. We have a rallying point. We've gathered together, you know, so we can work together in love, you know, so we can learn to work together in love, so we can repatriate in love, you know, from there. Because the principles, you know, the skills, you know, the character, what we get from living amongst one another, you understand, is what we go to Africa, that we will go to Africa with. We're not going to just go sit down on the camp yard and pray. We have 5 points, yes, churchically, sabbatically, statically, parliamentally, governmentally. So yes, well, after we done pray, we have things we're going to do. We're going to sit down and idle. We're not going to sit down and idle. We have things to work on. So it's going to be there. A man might think, oh, Broomfield was so long ago. The Broomfield ancient. You need no Broomfield. Broomfield can't do nothing for we now. Hey, lad, a broom up here, a Bobo broom sell for $15 up here, my lad. In Queens, a Bobo broom sell for $15. So, and they talk about if people did a taste straw and I make mat and them thing and so, you know, it might seem like, oh, it's nothing, it's a little thing. But that little thing there, me go up on the internet and see a little mahogany, a branch where somebody, you know, sand up and cure up and they put like a varnish on it, you know, like a shellac and thing, and they turn it into a towel holder. It's couple $1,000 is the sell for. You understand? So we have to really check out our look on this thing here, what Dad has said, this Congress Foundation and all the faculties that it have, and realize that is important for we to rally there together and make it run, make it work the way it's supposed to work. It's a hard for kingdom. Once again, we can't force nobody to do nothing. We can't force nobody, you know. Me, myself, have to go there, you know, and help to make it happen same way too.
Yes, my lord.
We would like once and once to come to the camp yard, you know. Left Babylon and come. Left your job and come, you know, and make it happen. Because it's our thing. It's our thing, my Lord and Majesty. And if we left it up just there, then it's like we're not gonna get what we're really looking for. We got always there run this side and that side and looking for something, and the things not gonna get done. Like we put money in bag with holes. It not gonna get done. So we have to come together at the rallying point.
Yes, my lord.
And make this thing happen, my Lord and Majesty. And pray that if me take up too much time, my Lord and Majesty, pray that if me take up too much time, but me have to express myself in this way because my mind can't talk a lot, you know, like my mind can't express myself, you know, a lot. The most eloquent way, the most eloquent way. But this is an important thing. It's pertinent that I and I rally together at the rallying point, my Lord and Majesty.
Yeah,
everything what King Emmanuel said, him set it for a reason, you know, and John know what he was doing, you know. And over time, enough man turn like wizard, like them wiser than Jah, you know? And no man out there wiser than Jah. Jah know what he do. So
all right, my lord. I have to stop you there. You know, give thanks for the word sound still, but for the sake of, you know, hearing others' voices, I give thanks for the midday guidance. Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Yes, you know, I would just, there's nothing wrong with the eye point and the time. It's just, you know, when you say something, you just say it one time. You don't have to keep saying it, you know, 3 different ways. We get it. And, you know, the call towards moving to the camp, I mean, is the eye moving to the camp, my lord? Like, make ones and ones feel guilty because they're not living in a camp or something. I don't think that's really productive or progressive. I mean, yes, we realize the camps, the headquarters need some assistance, but most of us ain't really jumping up to go live there still. So, I mean, that's we're planning on doing that. It can't really point at nobody else and say we're not doing it either.
Well, Honorable Prophet, my lord, that's the mission for I personally, as me say, me not there yet. But that's the mission for I, because that's what I see. And me not try to make no one feel guilty. If I want feel guilty, that's them telling themselves that them feel guilty. Because I never put no guilt
we
on
all
no
have
one.
a conscience to do what we feel is right, you know, and to guide our own self and let our own voice rouse us when we, you know, have to make these type of decisions. Give thanks for sharing your perspective, my Lord. It's valued just like everyone else's. And, you know, to keep the reasoning moving, I would call on Honorable Empress Cindy. And then we're going to go to Empress Empress Maisie, and then Empress Akosua. And
thought I was supposed to speak after Jacqueline.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong because your hand isn't up. So Empress Maisie, then Empress Cindy, and then Empress Akosua. Empress Maisie.
Oh, Holy Emmanuel, I Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Do give thanks again for life, you know, health and strength. Give thanks, Almighty Life Giver. Holy Emmanuel, I Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Give thanks for all what's said and done this morning on the study group. Give thanks, Honorable Empress Marina. It's good to hear your voice, my beloved. You know, give
Honorable
thanks.
Queen,
And give
my
thanks for your,
sister.
yes, thanks for your word sound. Give thanks, Honorable Priest Kareem, for your words, you know. All words you said is right, my Lord. You know, we need to really rally within the fullness of Rastafari. But first of all, you know, repatriation is a must, right? And no matter what, and no matter when it comes, but it have to happen somehow. You know, as my father did tell me one time, you know, when me and him married, he said, repatriate, no matter how long it takes. If it take 1,000,000 years, it is a must and it have to happen. All right. So Dada promised us to take us home. And Dada did not just build the foundation, build Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress for this church and everything. It built it for a reason, you know, to call us to build ourselves within right and principle and to learn about where we are from, you know, our roots, where we are from, you know, and the man promised us to take us back home to Africa through repatriation, right? So we give thanks for that, you know, and in everything we do, we just have to work together, as the priest said. But why repatriation doesn't come up as yet? Because I, Black people doesn't ready, right? We doesn't ready for such fulfillment. And that's why it's not really on the table right now. Because if you look in how I living amongst ourselves, you know, as Black people, as brothers and sisters in Christ, you know, who get the teaching from King Emmanuel. I'm just looking in Bobo fraternity right now. I'm not even gonna go out there and look outside. I'm looking in Bobo fraternity right now. Bobo man and woman, right? We are living, we are not ready for repatriation yet, right? Can you remember, you know, when we repatriate, we're going home to Africa. We say Mount Zion, holy place was where we're going. You understand? And them said, no sin cannot enter there, right? We have to go home, you know, and be as a holy people. That's why the Father laid the foundation for us to build ourselves in right and principle, laws and commandment, right? But the way how I living right now, you know, how we abuse with one another, the things we do, the things we say, it's not repatriation thing yet. And that's why I hold on ourselves back in the West here, right? Is I doing it? Until we start to live within the right and principle, right? As how King Emmanuel taught us. To love a brother, love a sister, yeah? Respect one another, and do the thing that is right. I give thanks to those who are home in Ghana and the rest of Africa, right? Still yet, they have to still working towards building themselves to Mount Zion. You see, Mount Zion is not there all over. I think it's there at a point in Africa, Ethiopia, you know. So right now, Zion, I do it. And until, this is my opinion, right? And it's everybody can see it. Until we start to work in one accord, and start to show the love, the loyalty between one another, yeah, and respect for one another, then we are going to still hold on ourselves down in a hell here. And judgment, because they said, never ever make him have to left I and I down here. And we can see the judgment. And we can see the things that is happening around us, right? And every time I remember the Father word, never make him have to leave us down here. So my brother and sisters, repatriation is a must. And no matter how long Africa, no matter how long the governments them, from Cape to Cairo, from Egypt to Ethiopia, right? And the government them in the Western world here, no matter how long them take to deal with repatriation, them have to deal with it. It is a must, said Father Moses. Most High Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. But till then, is I and I. Till then, how we live amongst ourselves. Yeah, every day we get up and we chant for repatriation. But to how we live, coming like say, we really mean what we are doing. Or see that here is a repatriation is evidence of I and I. Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, blessed love.
Give thanks, Empress Maisie. Yeah, I would like to, take a moment. We transitioning, to a different aspect of the reasoning still. Like, I feel like and this is just my opinion still from what I observe and what I hear, it seems like there is mentally a competition between, is repatriation for everybody, including the poor and have-nots, or is it just for, ones who can afford it? I would say that's not a real wise way to look at it, because it's all of that. I mean, it's, even as the Empress said, repatriation, besides the physical movement, now, God said we are the first gods and goddesses of the earth. We're not acting like that, you know what I mean? So that's a repatriation in itself, to get back to our original self, our loving self, our God and goddess self. But there's also, the migration, like we have people like Empress Marina, Empress Akosua, Priest Paul, Priest Turks, all of these different ones that have left the West and went to Africa, Ethiopia, and continue the mission. Is not to say that everybody's going to be able to do that, but those who can should, and when they get there, they have to continue to work, because it's not like you're just going to go and sit down and put your feet up and, live comfortably forever, because it's not there yet, you know what I mean? So all of it is relevant. Repatriation on a whole, with the 10, 7, 9, 13 Black miles of Black Star Line of ships, but also if you can afford to buy a plane ticket and get there, then get there and continue to work. It's not a, who's right or wrong. It's all towards getting us out of the situation that we're in. You know what I mean? So when we use words like migration scheme, when we talk about people who left with their family, and we use that kind of like a derogative kind of, connotation, like they're wrong for taking themselves out of hell, that's not a right way to look at it. They're our brothers and sisters, and they're continuing to work, doing things that you and I might not have been able to do yet. So don't be jealous of them because they could leave. Be happy for them and try to keep contact with them, support them, and keep it real, Yeah, we are brothers and sisters, and we are just trying to do the best. We put in hell and we're trying to make the best of the situation. So, keep the judgment, for yourself, and leave it for God, really. But anyway, call on Empress Cindy, and then I wanted to ask Empress Akosua a direct question and let her speak, and then Empress Marina had her hand up. We had a few other hands raised, Prophet Winston, Jasik, and I know Jah. So, I would ask that everybody, when you do speak, kind of keep it in mind that there's a lot of people waiting to speak as well. So You know?
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress, give day for the midday hour. I'll make this quick. It was a question for Empress Marina. I wanted to know what is her opinion on the something that happened last year around September with the AFRICOM situation, where heads of states and governments in the Caribbean and Ghana, how there's supposed to be some kind of link where descendants of African descendants in the Caribbean can go to different states in Africa without any kind of visa. I wanted to know her opinion on that, if she could speak on that briefly. Give thanks.
Yes, I give thanks.
Well, obviously, I mean, that's a good thing. And as it exists right now, if you're traveling on a Jamaican passport, you do not need a visa to enter Ghana. I don't know if that is true for any other African country, but sometimes when I'm going into Ghana, if my residency permit has expired and I haven't had the opportunity to get my visa, I will simply use my Jamaican passport to enter and then use my US passport to exit. So it's a good thing if they're going to, if the government of Ghana is going to include other countries in that visa exemption scheme.
Give thanks, Empress Marina. I would like to ask Honorable Empress Akosua a question now, being that she and her family, her kingman and her small children have moved to Ghana and living in Ghana currently. As a mother, as you know, as a parent, mother and father of little children, moving yourself and your children to Ghana, what has been some of the challenges that you faced, and what has, you know, yeah, like what's the biggest, like if you could advise anyone who had a family like that, how to move themselves, you know, and what things to look out for, what things to be cautious of, what advice would you give, Empress? You can unmute yourself and answer the question.
Greetings, Art of Love, in the name of the Most High, Selassie Jah, Rastafari, Empress Meninai. Give thanks for life, health, and strength. Art of love to the divine kings and queens on the line. Yes, I do give thanks to be here. Yes, one of the most challenging thing is not born here and knowing about like the area where we are going in, the people, who they are. But I think the best thing for us to make sure that we have people who's here already, like High and other Rastas and stuff like that. Not only that, it's totally different with the Rasta them here and the Rasta them there in the diaspora. I learned that being that we are coming from the West, our idea is different about building and economical and stuff like that. Our idea is even different with Rastafari and how we come together as Rasta. It's a totally different concept here with the Rasta in the diaspora and here. So I think the ones them, the foundation need to be here to teach the ones them who's here about the whole Rastafari movement, Nyabinghi, Bobo, Shanti. I think it's a miseducation about the movement. So they do not receive us. This is from my experience. I didn't get to receive what was expected.
Same. And you know, financially, like you have a clothing business, right?
Yes, and not only that, when we was coming here, we was already preparing for the mission. So you have to definitely prepare yourself and ready for it spiritually, mentally, physically, and most of all spiritually. Because Africa is very spiritual. And not only that, our brothers and sisters, I don't want to say, but I want to, they don't have the knowledge of Marcus Garvey, even Oli Emanueli, Charles Edwards, they don't have that kind of information what we in the diaspora have to move forward. So with financially now, we was already prepared to come here for schools for the children. We have to get apartments. It's a lot in transportation, very expensive in transportation. So I would advise the item to make sure that you have stuff like that prepare, like transportation, you know, I mean, it's very costly, worse if it's more, because my family is of 6. So that kind of, you know, limits us going forward. And not only that, meeting the wrong people is kind of positive and negative. Meeting the wrong ones, them too, could definitely be a setback to the finance, to your finance, if you don't know who you're around, because you can be misled or misguided by the same people who look like Rasta in turban, call Selassie everything.
Good to know.
So they actually looking to take from us. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, my brothers and sisters is coming home. Let me direct them on the right path. You know, the fact that we are here to uplift you guys, because we've been preparing for this. We hear about Marcus Garvey teaching us that we have to go to Africa. You know, we have to bring aid. We have to help our people. Economical development. We already prepared to come to help. We didn't come to take. You know what I mean? We come to help, and you know what I mean? So it's totally different. They actually just want to grab. And worse, they see that we are Rasta. They know Rasta is loving and we kind. They take a lot of advantage of that. So not only that, don't get discouraged. Africa is beautiful. It is way more peaceful here, a lot more opportunity. But the thing is, we need more ones. We have to come here in our numbers, I think. You know what I mean? I think that will be better if we come together in a unit. That would show more, I don't want to say power, but yeah, I don't want to use it too loosely, more strength, unity in numbers, you know?
Yes, I.
Yes, I.
All right.
But I mean, it's peaceful. It's beautiful. Every day I get up, it's like I've been thankful to be alive. But being in Africa, it's like, oh my God, it's an opportunity. It's like I'm so more thankful. I'm not seeing a lot of, I'm all the way in the country. I'm in the Volta region, so I'm not in the city. In the city is just like in Babylon. Confusion, same way, but the item have to really come and experience Africa. She's waiting for the item. The land is here for us to develop. And I want my brothers and sisters in the diaspora to know that the knowledge, what we have, I come here to see the value of us. I wish I could have just hugged each and every one of you guys right now and say the knowledge what you have, the information what you have. We have come a long way from white supremacy. When it come on to Christianity, oh my God, where I'm living right now, I'm surrounded by four church. 4 church. Well, so you have to expect stuff like that. But it's peace though. The people are peaceful, you know. And when I came here, they have a celebration on January 2nd. They call it 2nd J. It's the first time I ever experienced Black people in a number together without pushing, fussing, fighting. From my experience, that's what I've witnessed. And to me, that was so amazing. You know, to see Black people in one unity, no fussing, no fighting, and it's a lot of crowd of people. I was amazed by that. The peace is still amongst the people, but their mind is real capitalized by Christianity.
Really? Okay. Give thanks, Empress. So that's, that's a good heads up and some insight, because like I said before, it's like, I think when we think of repatriation, it's kind of shrouded in mysticism and not so much in the actual practical reality. So it's good to hear from ones that's already.
Yes, and it's a lot of opportunity. The knowledge what we have from the diaspora is needed here. It is needed. I don't care how far you think you are, your knowledge is needed here. Your wisdom, your love, your understanding. My people, you are needed here on this continent. The land is here. You have a town over there in Bethy. You have white people. They're from Germany. They on 1,000 acres of land, and every day they are harvesting to Germany. And the amount, I think the people who sell them this, rent them the land, they only got it for maybe 300 US, if that much, for 1,000 acres of land. The Chinese are here every day building on your continent. While we over there struggling, I don't care how much you think you have, you can make it here in Africa. You can make it. Once you embrace Africa with her high and her low, I'm telling you, you will make it here.
Give thanks for the encouragement.
Yes, I.
Yes, I. So, all right, we'll open up the floor.
You wanna hear something from our king, man?
Sure, yeah.
I and I, beloved.
As long as the ones with the hands
My
raised,
Lord.
all right, we're waiting a little longer, I would love to hear from you, man. So anyway.
Yeah, for keep it short, though. Come now. And out of love again to the honorable kings and queen. Give thanks again, honorable, to, give her the opportunity on the program. Yes, sir. Rastafari, Holy Emmanuel, I Selassie, Jah. Rastafari, we give thanks, and not only that, we need the tabernacle here. The item need to be here.
Blessed love,
blessed
majesty,
honorable.
Aye, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari.
My Lord.
How was that, King?
Oh, all is blessed, my Lord. Giving thanks for the reasoning, give thanks for life.
Yes,
yeah. So what do I have to say, to the Bobo house and to the world, Black people at large about, moving and living in Africa? What anything, whatever message you want to share still.
All right. Well, give thanks. I want to greet all that is looking. My name is Just Sparks, and I am a Rastaman. You see it? So the reason for our move is to fulfill the Rastafari, the whole concept of Rastafari moving forward to Africa. Yes, I am not an official member of any house, but I do put on my turban. I hold to the orders of King Emmanuel. I hold Sabbath, I do the fasting, because I think that is a more principled concept. We ought to be living by principle. But in any sense, the repatriation moving forward to Africa. Africa is Zion, as we all know, is the Rastaman Zion, right? The Rastaman haven. It is a place where it's flowing with milk and honey. It's a place where Europe, America, China, Canada, all the other world leaders got rich off of. Yes, it's a place where it is written that this land was stolen from the children of God, right? Now, we being the children of God, being in the West and knowing who we are, coming into Rastafari, going through the movement, going through slavery and all these things, having to return home now. It is very good. I think it is our purpose. That's what we've been fighting for ever since we came to these shores 400 years ago, is to go forward home to our motherland. None of our ancestors wanted to be in the West.
Sorry.
So over here, the opportunity is endless.
Endless.
It's, I don't know what to tell you. I'm in paradise, right? The place is underdeveloped. So there is no competition. It's not like in the West that is overdeveloped. And for you to build a business to be so hard, no. There is no competition here. I would urge the ones them to come home. You know, Africa is our headquarters because the Africans here, they need the knowledge that we gained in the West as Rastafari. They need the knowledge here in order to move forward, because if they don't get the knowledge, we as the ones them in the West coming home, we do not have the power as citizens to run the country. But the locals them here, they have the power. So if the youths of the country would learn the true concept of Rastafari and the true concept of the African unity that His Majesty brought, then they would be able to bring change by coming into power here. Other than that, it's a fighting battle that we would lose. Because if the African man don't see that we have something to offer them that is of equal value to what they have, they will not work with us. Blessed love, Empress. You know, I don't know how that I pop up on the screen, but you know, bless the eye, you know, we do give thanks, you know. But this is one of the challenges that we have here. There is no foundation here for us to say that when we came here, we had someone to go to say that they have a place set up that we can stay and we can really focus our mind on where we can go. You know, we ain't got to really worry about food and this kind of stuff, you know, if someone is stationed here. But we came to wolves, you know, we came to people who just wanted to grab, you know, and we just wanted to be here in Africa. We were so excited about being here in Africa that, you know, our eyes wasn't really open to them like that. We thought it was love, you know. They showed themselves to be in poverty like they don't have, but each one of them have a family home. They don't have to pay rent. They don't have to pay lights. Each night food is cooked in that house. They don't have to worry about food. So these are the things them that we came to learn after a year, you know? So if there is structures here to bring ones home to repatriation, the ones them for repatriation, if there's a structure here to accept them and board them and show them around, you know, then it will be easier for us to set up, own businesses here and work with the locals them to move forward and get Africa out of the state that it's in.
Lord. Yes, well, that's a big sound, you know, and it further confirms what Empress Marina had mentioned earlier, the importance of moving with a group of, you know, whether it be a big, large group or a group of families or what, but to try and do it as a team as opposed to, you know, you and, you know, one person or one family trying to make it. So, yes, my Lord, give thanks and, you know, give thanks for the Empress, the I and the Empress testimony. You know, stay, you know, if you could stay on the program, you know, I'm sure there will be
man, we definitely will stay on the program. One thing I want to say that is very important is networking. We are already here in Ghana, the IDEM in the West. The money difference is an advantage, you know? There is works that can be done here to establish food plantations. The IDEM don't have to be up there eating Babylon food. You understand? Like my Empress just showed, the guy in Germany, 1,000 acres, and every week they're sending containers to Germany. They don't give none of the produce to the locals unless it's spoiled. And these are white people here in Africa, in our land. And we are over there talking about Africa. We love you, Africa. And this is what is going on in the land here. The Chinese, them, are mining illegally. They're killing off the Ghanaians, them. If they try to stop them, it's too much. The Indians, them here, are doing business, gold business. It's too much.
Nobody else but us.
You see? Blessed love. I give thanks for the time, for the item strength, power to the people, for this is the time where we are receiving our power again. Just like the eye have a platform. That's power. Use it wisely, my brother, as you are doing. More love and blessings, King.
My Lord. Give
What
thanks
a
for
love,
that.
family.
Blessed, my
Until
brother.
we meet at Zion Gates, Mama Africa, on the shores of Mama Africa is where we will call His Majesty name. Emmanuel the Seventh, Adonai God, Jah, Rastafari.
Hello. Yes, So we have a few hands. We got 5 hands. I would ask everyone to, be mindful of the time. We have Jah Winston, Jah Seek. I know Jah, Prophet Joseph, and I see Empress Marina's hand up as well. So that's the order.
My Lord, please, if I could just cut in for a minute. I'm going to have to leave. I'm going to have to take my leave.
Okay.
So, because I have other business to attend to.
Yes, sir.
But one of the things one of the point I want to make is that starting a business in Ghana, it's a good idea. It's a good plan. As I said, most of the big businesses in Ghana are controlled by people from outside, the Chinese, the Lebanese, the Indians, the Europeans. We don't have their kind of money, but we can still do something with if we were to pool our resources together. You understand? We could start a big farm, but most importantly, what I see that it's needed, a construction company would be a great idea, because there are so many brethren here in the West that they have the skills: masons, carpenters, electricians, plumbers. We need those skills in Ghana. We're building a house now up in the mountains, up in Mamfi, and I am telling you, you need the patience of Job, because you will find that. And once again, we love our brothers and sisters on the continent, but oftentimes they're not as equipped as we are in terms of workmanship and taking the pride to see that the work is the work is done in a way that is acceptable, that there's some kind of standard operating procedure. And so there's a constant having to watch to ensure that they do things according to specifications, to your, it's very frustrating. And it can be costly too, because then they will, things will get done wrong, and then you have to redo it, so forth and so on. And as the sister even mentioned, they are not, because people are living in poverty a lot of times. They're not averse to taking from us, from robbing us. And so we have to keep our eyes open, because we go in, as I said, looking through rose-colored glasses, thinking that this is Zion, but we are seen as having more than they do, and they will not hesitate to take from us. They will not hesitate to rob us. I mean, I cannot think of I don't know how else to say it without wanting to sound offensive. But they will take from us. They will chop us, as is the local terminology, for as much as they can. And I'm sure everyone who's lived in Ghana in particular can tell you a story of how they've been chopped, right? So we need to come in with our skills and to pool our resources and enter those industries where there's an opening for us, right? So those are my my last words before I sign off. I thank you for the opportunity for having appeared on this forum and for being able to make a contribution. And as I said earlier, I will share with you the draft of what I had marked up from the Homeland Return Act that the Ghana Parliament is considering, and that they had shared with us and asked for comments. And I did that last year when I was in Ghana in October of last year. And I made my comments, and I believe that they're useful comments. I believe that they can be expanded upon, but I was trying to be a bit conservative. But there's the 2 key elements was they talk about gaining citizenship or status through investment, and they were talking about $1 million. That's unrealistic. I struck that paragraph, and I inserted my own paragraph or suggestion that they should reduce that to say $100,000. $1 million is outside the reach of 99.9% of us. $100,000 is more realistic. And even that, they may have to make some accommodations to say, if they will allow, 3 people or 4 people to be able to commit that $100,000 to business, and then they can gain status from that. Like, when I say 4 people, I mean like 4 families, right? So it would only be $25,000 on each family. So they, you know, so there are those things that that continues to be a challenge. Anyway, give thanks and bless the Lord to all.
Pretty, my Lord, Sister Marina.
Honorable
Blessed love,
Empress.
yes, I bless the Lord. Are you in Ghana now, or you are in America?
I'm in New York now. I'm going to go visit some of my grandkids.
Okay. Well, I'm up here. I'm in Albany.
You're in Albany. All right. So
Yes.
you're in New York too.
Right.
Yeah. So
right, my beloved sister.
Listen to me. Why don't you call me, and then maybe we can make arrangements. I don't know if you can come down and visit. I have not seen you.
Yes, I don't have your number.
I
don't have your number.
I'll give it to you.
Daniel has my number. So
all right.
He will give it to you. All right, Sister Mace, it would be wonderful if I could see you.
All right. So sure, my sister. I will try to arrange it, okay?
All right, Honorable.
Good to hear your voice, beloved.
Yes,
blessed love. Pardon me.
Yeah.
Pardon me, Daniel. Pardon me.
It's understood, Empress. No problem. Give thanks, Empress Marina, for your contribution to today's reasoning. Our strength and powers, guidance and protection, and going out and coming in.
Yes, my Lord. Give thanks.
Blessed love.
No love.
So now we have Honorable Prophet Winston, Prophet Jasik, Prophet I know Jah, Prophet Joseph, and then Empress Akosua. Prophet Winston, my Lord, you can unmute yourself. Jah, Rastafari.
Give thanks to the patient same way,
Yes,
and the judgment within the principle same way still causing. They just love same way, But I was saying now, ain't come here for even study certain things. It's a sabbatical chat, This is a sabbatical chat. We ain't chatting out the Sabbath, Who can go Africa can go Africa same as love same way, full up Africa same way, but this is a sabbatical chat. You see it, and everything we learn in Bobo Hill, as we live it, We ain't live out the road and ain't living like in the camp, We fast and pray 40 days same because we walk now in Babylon same way. As we live on the mountain top, We keep the same principle as we keep in the tabernacle, But a lot of things have to happen same way. As because enough people have to full up Bobo Hill same way. As because I don't see certain things, So certain things have to happen. But who are go Africa? Go Africa, No one ain't stopping no one for go Africa. As you see it. But not because you may go in there and find someone who may give you a certain respect where you feel that you deserve. We ain't come here for study them things there's Bobo, As car. You see, from me live right, it's right here go meet, And from me live wrong, it's wrong you go meet. And just show we wrong right, As you see it. And how wrong right does operate, wrong right always want a helper. So we as Bobo now, we're coming in Africa to set our Congress ways and our Congress principle. We go over everything that we do. As we put King Emmanuel before we. In everything we do, we put King Emmanuel before we say. So this chat is a sabbatical chat. Fasting and praying, same. It's a delegation chat. As see it. So we chat as Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress without apology. We don't take no apology. No one. Rasta. And we are gathered together. Just say who make it for reach, they are go steady. Who make it for reach Bobo Hill, I go steady. They say in a joke, Chad, 144,000 elections. Enough I go running and do all kind of thing because the real people them ain't reaching yet, See when the real people reaching, yeah man, things start to manifest lightning and thunder start to crack, So who are going to highway and going to highway right now? We know we have to cry for the elder them, and we know the mission of King Emmanuel set upon. It's a sabbatical charter. Jehovah, you see it. It's a commandment charter. Exodus 20 and 31. Look where you want to now. Me stop you from where you want to. It's black over white, same, you know, David Root, you know. We ain't changing that for nothing. That's the policy of King Emmanuel. So I say to ones and ones, remember the fulfillment of the word, eh? The book for fulfill, and we come fulfill the word like how King Emmanuel show we how to fulfill the word. You know, we must study Bobo Hill. You know, we must study Bobo Hill, and we must do what we're supposed to do. We study Bobo Hill. Because the foundation move, but the righteous will do it. So we have to study Bobo Hill. We eat a little. If we have 2 bread, we eat 1 today and put up 1 for tomorrow. Marcus Garvey show with that. So we still have to continue for send things to Bobo Hill and start to go to Bobo Hill and do things. But here I say to the prophet or the priest who speak just now, same man. Jamaicans have to get this thing right. You can't have people coming to the foundation of God and them scared. Them can't hold no salvation. You can't live fire gun and have gun and all kind of thing in your house. So Jamaican have to know what they're doing and get the things right. Jehovah's, and don't blame the rest of the world because them have the thing like how it is today. Because it's been a different place, the place with a full of people. The place with a full of people, it's been a different place. Them killing them brothers and them sisters for no reason, them going to Jack camp, them doing all kind of thing in Jack camp. Them have all kind of behavior in Jack camp. Rasta, Jehovah's. You ain't finding no other camp now else doing these things, you know. You know, Jamaica must start to pull up them sacks. Whoever them did, Jehovah's, they must start to pull up them sacks. When them brother and them sister come into the art again, from where them come from, any country them come from, show them love. Jehovah's, show them love. Make them feel welcome within the whole art of Bobo Shanti. Don't show them no fight and don't show them certain things and show them that you set this order. Is you rule out, Jamaicans rule out, and Zion, is you rule this. You know, we are sons and daughters. But King Emmanuel, pretty I see it up a little. King Emmanuel set this in I Empress says she want say a word to say, must I give I Empress say me.
Thanks again, Honorable Daniel, for the moment. I'm going to keep it nice and short again because, you know, I always the hands that are up as well. And, you know, taking into consideration, you know, the Empress them who share a oneness with their kingman. Give thanks again for their word of right. Give thanks again for the discipline, you know, which is the Prisicolada, you know. Give thanks again for the principles that has been set back by King Emmanuel, you know, Crown Champion of Human Rights too as well. And again, like how Honorable Joe Winston say, the Sabbath, you know, give thanks again. Reasoning on the collective again, right? I reason upon on the statical. Yes, there is the churchical. One cannot be without the other, Honorable My Lord, Empress, Prince, and Princess. You know, again, reasoning to the Honorable Priest Karim, the curriculum, the teaching, the reasoning of, you know, what the Honorable Joe Winston, you know, and I as well, and I Princess, and all others who teach, you know, within the Congress and even within outside of the Congress, who at least try to, you know, the curriculum, you know, that Honorable Joe Winston and I designed have all of them things that all of the item is reasoning about within the churchical and the statical. One can't go without the other. When you're collecting the materials and so on and so forth, some of the materials are, all of the I have to have that meditation that you're putting these things aside, not just to repatriate, but to also put towards the actual foundation, which is in Jamaica, give thanks again. You know, but again, like how the Honorable say, there's ones and ones that have to get right. You know, not saying that everything, you know, is going to always be on, you know, where, you know, we'll have our differences. But when I put the actual curriculum together, you know, through the words of Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, you know, you have to know where you're coming from, you know, because a tree without, you know, the past knowledge of who they are. It's like a tree with no roots. So again, it's still Marcus Emmanuel Selassie, 3 in 1, 1 in 3, same way, right? To the spiritual Exodus 20 and 31. You still have to know all these things. So the statical have to take care of the churchical. And when you're doing these things now on a collective where, again, we have a problem with transparency. So the actual solution to the transparency is the materials. And when you're collecting these materials, you're not only sending it to the ones and ones who's going in, who choose to, as ones and ones would say, migrate as a collective or migrate as an individual. The point still remains is all of the I have the knowledge to actually share and actually share in terms of how to delegate what you actually may purchase or gain as a collective, right? Or as an individual. So you're going to give some to the actual foundation because all of the I know the foundation need help over there. Then you have certain ones in another area who's in Africa that needs that help too as well. Then you have individuals who have certain skills, and like Honorable Priest Karim, I'm going to make it short again. You might not have the skills, not in pertaining to maybe the going to school and so on and so forth, right? But this is why the ones and ones who do have these skills are able to actually give that position in terms of, to hire, bring the I in and give the I that opportunity in terms of workshop, like how the Honorable Johnson's reasoning about. This is what's in the curriculum. We teach the children then, we teach the adults, not just the children, the adults too, right? If they want to learn, right? Anything they want to learn, it's there. Our meditation as a collective is strong, right? So you have the architects, you have the mechanics, you have everyone all in one, but it starts with, the children then and going all the way up. There's no end. It's just a beginning with no end. It's the same thing that how the curriculum is actually designed. There's no end to it. You don't stop learning. You continue learning. So even the ones who can't read, the ones who can't do certain things within a certain career opportunity, and they would love to have the opportunity, they have to know they still have the opportunity. They might not be articulate in their words or have that BA or their bachelor's degree or physician's degree. But the thing is, you have the opportunity within the Congress to do so because why? We have that teaching, right? So once that is actually full established and ones know that it's there, right? Then we can move forward as a collective. Give thanks again for King Emmanuel, Charles, who give I the Sabbath to be kept, holy, within righteousness, give thanks again for the discipline, give thanks again for Jah Daniel and, this actual opportunity for all of the I to come together and reason on a repatriation level as a whole and as Black people as a whole. Give thanks again. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie.
All right.
Give thanks repatriation, my Lord.
Yeah, give thanks, my Lord and Empress, for the item contribution to the reasoning same way. Continuing, moving forward, Honorable Jasik, and then I know Prophet Joseph, Empress of Kosua. So first, Jasik, my Lord.
Bless the love, my Lord and Empress, Prince and Princess. Yeah, man, give thanks for repatriation again, We give thanks for, our worthy founder, leader, President, God and King. We give thanks for Black Christ and flesh. Yeah, man. The man, they have 4-point plan, and certain thing in place for man to manifest. And they never try work to do. Works to do. They never try it, my Lord. So it come like how you never try it now, you never see the fulfillment of the 4-point plan and these things, my Lord. And the parliament never really come into place. So we never see the effect of them things, my Lord.
Sure.
The man said them things for we to do. So if they do it, my Lord, they have see something, they have see our works manifest, my Lord.
Sure.
But you say the works never do, my Lord. It never really manifests, my Lord, You didn't see the outcome right now. Them Virgin and Fish, Africa right now, we give thanks for them and them. Them come like panels, therefore we still to set the way for when we come in,
Sure.
We can still show the way. Yeah, man, so we glorify them and them who leave and go and establish things for we when we come in still, Yeah, man, because that prophecy is still the same way. But this thing, repatriation now is a righteous repatriation because it begins with freedom, redemption, repatriation. So this thing, we had to come under the creational covenant banners of the red, gold, and green, red, black, and green. The emblems for the Queen of England respect and what she bowed to. Under these banners now, and I shall get freedom. If you understand, redemption now is saving a soul from sin. So this thing now is a righteous redemption. It's not like, Jack all one and all still, but it's a righteous redemption. You understand? Right now we see in the West, plenty money spent, as the prophecy say, to blind the eyes of our brothers and sisters from even seeing Africa. When this thing started manifest, my Lord, plenty man will go to Africa again, my Lord. Because man will get a big house and the thing in the West, man will be comfortable in the West, my Lord. That's why this thing is really far remnant a man same way. You know what I'm saying? As we come and know, righteousness exalts a nation and sin bring anyone to reproach. You understand? And as the I say now, we know it has Zancha too. Even though when we reach Africa now, we still want to reach Holy Mount Zion to see the king on the rainbow soccer tune. That's not done. 144,000 elected saints. It was. So it's a possibility. You know, when the captain come against me, the shepherd to leadership on them. Because you see why the rest right now, my Lord, it's bitter. But give thanks, the battle is hot. So we know the victory shall be sweeter. Holy Emmanuel. So let's see. Rastafari. Africa needs a purge to my Lord. Need a purge. So when we come in there, Africa the purge. Because Africa awaits its creators too. We gotta really go back and teach back the brothers and sisters to my Lord. Because the Lord, Christ himself was in the West. So them man, them really get certain teachings. But Christ said enough man, from since them time to establish certain things, certain churches. But churches really are man same way. Because right now, as you all see, there's enough Bobo Shanti in Africa. Enough man put on the turban and things. So we know all the man is church. Because God doing churches built by hands, but in man. So we give thanks to see the works moving through my Lord. Enough Bobo rise, my Lord, in these last days. Jah works going through my Lord. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie. Honorable.
Next, Prophet Just Seek, my Lord. Honorable, I know Jah, my Lord. You can unmute yourselves.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks once again. I gotta get this here across, and I would like to ask the Empress and the Bridget who in Ghana. I like a couple 4 questions, but I try and get this here across so we could seem to not offend unconsciously in words. Marcus say, true religion and science is the only weapon to mash down, the modern designs of evil vibes. I want to get that.
The modern evils, my Lord.
Give thanks, my Lord. Also, the word migration scheme, this is where it come from, and this is what it means. Dada wrote a rewritten article to the Rastafari Speaks, and the agenda of repatriation, the Jamaican government were trying to kind of champion the cause and put him secondary, you see it? So that's what he meant by migration scheme. He did not mean an individual, so did I. I did not mean no individual. I have brethren, like I say, over there. Now, I would like to ask the Empress and the brethren some questions like this. Communications within phone, company, how that work within billing, setting up, banking, how that work within billing, setting up, how is the land accumulate, meaning does it have a land tax in your area? How does that work? Do you have to have a deed? Do you have to go through a government, a chief? How is that work? How is transportation? I hope I'm going too fast, is it? How the transportation by the work? Does it have, what the Empress was saying before, it don't have no car note, which down the road I wouldn't want to go, but does it have fair, the prices and the transportations and these things? So I hope you heard me clearly. My lad, if you could give them the rest of my time to answer that, my lad.
Sure.
Thanks, my lad.
Empress Akosua and Just Sparks, that question was for the item. Did you hear it? Empress Akosua, if you could unmute. Did I hear the question, beloved? One moment, my Lord, let's see what's going on. Empress Akosua.
Yes, can you repeat the question, please?
He was asking, well, yeah, I'll just let him go through. Prophet, I know, Jack, can you say the question one more time?
Yes, Honorable, my Lord and Empress. I was asking, like, okay, the communication, which is phone, telecommunication. How is that set up and how to set that up? Also, I was asking banking. How is that set up and how to set that up? Also, like land. Do you have to go through a deed, or is there like how the Western world deal with it? Like you have this land tax, or do you get it from a chief, or you have to go through the government? And then also transportation. Do they have fair deals on transportation? Bless it.
Phone, banking, land purchasing, and transportation, Empress. If you can unmute yourself.
Communication.
Bless your love.
Bless it, my Lord.
We do give thanks. As a part for communication, with the phone, we have mobile communication, but the thing about it down here is apart from in the West. In the West, you can buy a plan, you could have a phone and a plan, and you have unlimited web, internet, and whatever the case. But down here, you have to pay for everything, So for your airtime to be on any social media or anything, you have to pay for it, Also for your phone calls, you have to pay, When you don't have any money on your phone, you can still receive calls, That's the thing about it down here, But other than that, that's communication. The internet access is poor, especially we are out in the country area. More in Accra and them places there, it will be more Wi-Fi, more communication, but it's more expensive, because it's the city, Now, it was communication, then
Land.
Banking.
Yeah.
With the banking, the same, for you to open a bank account here, you have to live here at least for a year. And then you first have to go and get registered to get a Ghana card. So you'll have to register with Ghana government to get a Ghana card. And then from there, you can go and open a bank account. Other than that, you can't open a bank account here. As a part now for land matter. Land matter is very tricky, but the basis of the land matter is that they will not sell foreigners or diasporians, the ones coming home, land as ownership like that, easily like that. What the government will do, they will lease the land for 99 years for you. It's the same thing they will do for the white man, But if you have a Ghanaian, a local, to go in your name to buy the land with you and pose that he is you, you can get the land because they only sell the land in entirety to local, other Ghanaian family, That's how they do it. And then as a part for transportation, if you have money, yes, you can buy a car. You'll have to register the car and stuff like that. Other than that, if you don't have a car, you will have to pay to drive, go practically everywhere.
Give me my summing.
So for us here in Volta region, if we have to travel to Accra, it's 6 of us.
Yeah.
We would have to pay roughly, it's 45. Well, 50. It went up to 50 a person. So
how much is that US?
300 TDs to go. If you want to rent the whole vehicle, you'll pay anywhere from 700 to 800 to go. Sometimes the drivers want to charge you 1,000. If you go back and forth, you might get charged 1,000, 1,002 or 1,004. And that's Ghana cedis. The money difference is $1 US to 5.7 Ghana cedis. That's the money difference.
Okay, my Lord.
Give thanks, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks.
Highly blessed.
Blessed, honorable. So one more hand raised, Prophet Joseph. And then I wanted to ask Honorable Priest Dougie, he just came and I wanted to ask him some things regarding to the government structure. Prophet Joseph, my Lord, you can unmute yourself.
Blessed Lord, my Lord and Empress.
Honorable.
Oh, my Lord, give thanks again for the reasoning. It has been very uplifting, my Lord. The vision from once there in Africa, and well, seeing the potential of the work at hand, my Lord, and how possible things can be done with the networking from with the right people to develop these actions is really positive, my Lord. I really my Lord, I would like to add my opinion on the matter of repatriation in terms of what I see becomes like a discussion when it seems like if people go into Africa and working for the development of Africa was different from what, like from once going to the Bobo Hill and going to work there. I don't see it like that, my Lord. I see that like our work should be even in the headquarters to accommodate our resources in a way that we can fulfill this mission with the right structure, right? Like instead of just thinking on saving money to send people there, why aren't we thinking in buying a car there, buying a bus, buying a land, establishing a company that can feed the ones that will go there, right? And the vision from the ones that are there is, I see it is really important, my Lord, and I see like communication with Rasta, with Rastas from Africa and with members from the Congress is really important because we are a nation, right? We are looking for to establish Rastafari, the Congress, as a nation in Africa, right? And so this is this vision, my Lord, that has been brought in this reasoning is, I see, very key in terms of this has to be fulfilled. And if this is going to be fulfilled, we need to start networking with ones there and start developing this structure, my Lord. So it is not just sending people there, but building a right structure for the people that is going to be there to have the facility to have it, to have it in the way that they can go to the government, that they can go to schools, that they can go and fulfill the mission of developing the motherland. So, yes, my Lord, I see it's been really uplifting, my Lord. I give thanks. I just wanted to give that short word, my Lord, and yes, my Lord, and really encourage I to keep the link with ones and ones that are willing and that are doing the mission right in the continent, my Lord. Blessed love, and my Lord and Empress.
Blessed love, Prophet Joseph. Give thanks, my Lord. Yeah, it's a lot. We're covering a lot of different aspects of repatriation. We really focused on Ghana mostly, but I'd like to, let everyone, or just say that we should all keep it in mind that Africa is a really big continent, bigger than America, bigger than Mexico, Canada, all of them put together, and Ghana is one of the smaller countries in the continent. The only reason you know, we focus so much on Ghana, I think is because Dada has sent a delegation there, but he also sent one to Ethiopia, and the Gospel Bell mission went to Nigeria as well. And maybe, I don't know if there was another country as well, but we have representatives in a lot of different countries, and we should, you know, research as many as possible and see which ones we have the best chance of, you know, living and meeting the least resistance and being able to thrive, you know, like this suffering life that we've been used to in the West. We shouldn't plan on going there to live meager, you know, and just get by. We should be planning to go to thrive, you know, and live for real. Because even in the reasoning last week, Priest said, or maybe it was in the reasoning, maybe it was in a reasoning I had with someone one-on-one, but it was saying like how, you know, all of these elders, they put their life on hold when they came to Bobo Hill, thinking that they was going to be leaving and then go to really establish themselves once they reach Africa, you know, with like real business and, you know, doing it like how everybody else in the world is doing it. We haven't been able to live that way because we've been disenfranchised, but we would be enfranchised when we reach Africa. So we should be planning it, you know, not with a struggle and poverty kind of plan, but more, you know, looking to really grow beyond what we've been able to do in the West. But anyway, Priest Dougie, my Lord, I wanted to ask the some things about the governmental approach, you know, of the Congress and that thus far, someone mentioned the 4-point plan. You know, are these things, I would just ask, what do you have to say about, you know, the Bobo Shanti infrastructure as regarding a mass repatriation, you know, differently from ones and ones individually or as groups moving. But like, you know, as we agitate to these governments and things like that, where are we and where do we need to be, in your opinion and from your experience, my Lord?
Yeah, give thanks, Royal House. Sorry for the tardiness. I had some business I had to take care of. Yeah, man, give thanks for the reasoning that I've heard so far. Very positive. In regards to the repatriation plan, because anything else is a migration plan, and there's nothing wrong with that, as the brethren said earlier. Any which way to reach home, you know, back in the days, the elders, them would have walk, swim, fly. You know, some would say them would have even sail home on a lightning bolt if it was possible. See, and so reaching home is by any means necessary. But when we're talking about, as one of the brethren had stated in the site earlier this week, about the poor and the have-nots, those that have no means of getting there outside of repatriation, that is what the repatriation plan is for. And that is what Dada, King Emmanuel, was about. You know, he was about setting up the infrastructure on the continent, but at the same time, he wasn't willing to leave his, you know, people around here. He wanted to make sure that he was there, or I and I is here to make sure that the plan is put through. Well, no, the 4-point plan is a basic, you know, black print on how to achieve, you know, the simplest aspect of repatriation. But at this point, brethren, you know, with the knowledge that we have, you know, with the technology and the science, you know, we can now take the development of this plan using the 4-point as the base and take it to a different level where it needs to be in the 21st century to be successful. You know, I and I used to always chant about 7 miles of Black Star Line, and if not 7 miles, 9 miles, if not 9 miles, 13 miles. Those things are nice chants, you know, they are symbolic, you know, like how certain things in the Bible they are allegories, they are symbolic. So we have to now think about what is the real process, the real way of getting home. Now, in establishing the gospel bells, the father used the aeroplane because that was the means. And one of the things that he did, he forged a relationship with one of the airlines that frequented Africa back in them time. Okay, we had such a good relationship with them that we would send loads and loads of provision without being charged for it. That means You see like how them charge you for every bag now and every piece of luggage and piece of parcel, anything you have. We forged a relationship in which we could send tons of goods and not be charged, because we were traveling back and forth on a regular basis, spending with that specific airline. So we became a primary customer. Now, I am saying this to say, as part of the whole repatriation plan, essential partnerships are essential. We have to forge partnerships with entities that can make our agenda, fulfilled. Saying that with the ones in Africa right now, where the Congress is, one of our main problems is we have no support system for who is there, because the plan is there, and it's not rocket science. We are trying to move a whole set of people from the west to the east. The first thing we need is infrastructure. Now, we have lands which we, as the AABIC, have secured. But beyond that, there are lands there that are considered repatriation lands. It's just to have your representatives reach out, check into these knowledge, fact find, and identify them and interface with the pertinent authorities. Now, for Bobo, we in Ghana is our strongest base right now. And Ethiopia is running a close second. I can't speak to South Africa. I don't know much about what Priest Murdoch and them is doing in South Africa. I know that they're there and they're growing in numbers, but I don't know their strength in development. Ghana is our strongest base because we have land that we own, that we purchase, that belongs to the Congress. 40 acres of farmland, plus the campsite. Now, the repatriation plan fell apart really because we didn't send the right emissaries, first of all. Secondly, there was no support system to continue the program. In this juncture, we need to put together an economic plan, first and foremost, because anything you're going to do in this world requires money. And if we don't have money, then what are we talking about? What are we drafting? What kind of plan? So the first and foremost thing that we have to identify is an economic plan that will fund the project. Then we go in, we interface with the government, we get whatever governmental assistance we can get. We're not talking about kind of what takes place in the West. Don't be confused with what takes place in the West. When we go home, the government there is Africans. We're talking about our African people we're going to be dealing with and get whatever assistance we can from them, because it's a mutual thing we'll be doing, because we're going to be developing communities, building houses, trying to set up businesses. So it is beneficial for all. So we interface with them, build a relationship, and start from there. Identify what kind of businesses we can bring to those spaces that's not existing there. For example, in Ghana, there's an area there where Aras set up a waste management business, because when he got there, he realized that there was no mechanism or institution that dealt with waste management, So he created that. One thing they used to dig in that region, they used to dig hole and use the bathroom and things like that. He put in public bathrooms, one. He hired people, started off with wheelbarrows and broom and shovel, and they maintained the city areas and so forth. He grew and grew till he bought trucks, and now he's running a full waste management system, So he saw something, a need, he saw a void and filled it. Same way I have to go and fact find look for the kind of businesses that we can develop in an area. I can use another example, Empress Marina Blake. You know, Empress Marina, when she first went to Ghana, she realized that in the region where she was, there was no internet cafe. There was no easy access to communication. So she invested in one. Things like that, you know. And from that, now we develop, you know, you're able to now send home 2 families because you're gonna need people to man those businesses, you know, even though we are gonna be hiring our own African brothers where we can. It is basically about having a means of supporting who you send home. So now you have a business that can sustain 2 families or 3 families. And so we build. But we have to have what we're talking about. Everything has to be on paper. We have to structure our repatriation plan, that it can be presented. It can be presented to any entity, to the United Nations, to the AU, to any government, to anyone, because it's a plan, fully structured, fully thought out. And we have the emissaries already. So we have started the whole process. We have the emissaries there on the ground in various regions. We can put together the data we need. We just need follow-up now. We need other entities now from the West here, you know, groups of ones, you know, another set of emissaries or ambassadors, you know, going over, interfacing with those that are there, you know, that have been there for over a decade and more, some near 2, you know, and building those bridges, you know, because as we see, if we don't get the lump sum of money from reparations, you know, to facilitate it, we will have to facilitate it ourselves. What we're going to do? Stay here and die? No, we'll have to facilitate it. So this is the practical way of doing it, you know, and it's doable. United, we can do this. You know, you put your little, you know, 10 part in our pot, you know, every time you keep putting and you build one cocoa full basket, you have enough to purchase land. You know, you start simple and we build. Direct questions I can answer, any direct questions that I have, but that is the simple view of it, because repatriation is a very intricate program with several components to it. And it would take us this whole program and more to get into all the intricacies. So what I have done is just give you a base overview of the different aspects and approach that will be needed. You know, but if there are direct questions towards any specific aspect that you want me to expound on, you know, I have no problem going there.
Give thanks, my Lord. I see the hands raised, but I have someone who, I don't know if they know how to raise the hand or not, but they've been here for a while and wanted to say something. So we'll call on Honorable Ja Benton. My Lord, if you don't need to unmute, you can go ahead and speak. And then I'll call on Ja Winston. I know Ja and Empress Akosua. Ja Benton, my Lord, you there? Blessed, my Lord.
Love family. I want to give thanks for the reason and give thanks for the constructiveness. Thanks for the zeal, everyone. Just want to encourage us to continue within ourselves, because enough information is being shared. And we say it's a study group, so sometimes through such a vast and intricate situation and process, we have to take the time to identify through all this networking and gathering key issues that we have to study collectively. You know, like Empress Marina, when we did repatriation, just in the whole basis of it. And a lot of the reasoning just on prohibited immigrants and these things. Like I say, we still have to deal with it as a legal process. We still have to understand the laws and understand what agitation we have to put in terms of adjusting our agitation towards really achieving our ends. So I just would encourage us all to really study up on the information the Empress provide and see how we can better understand the process and adapt our agitation and our movements towards meeting that.
True. There's CARICOM, you know, they've done a lot of work towards reparations and repatriation. They have a website with information and resources that's available to us, you know, that we should use. Is Prophet Benton, the UNIA, is it geared towards repatriation, really?
Yeah, but see, repatriation, like I say, your ideology determine how you view a subject. Now, for I and I, repatriation more viewed through a spiritual dimension and through a biblical context. So we tend to adapt our movements towards that. That's just my insight, my experience on looking at it, how I see it. Now, when we look at Marcus Garvey's approach to repatriation, it's a do for self. It's a restorative action, not an act of reparations. So now, us who look at the repertory side, the reparation side of being the justice, we have a different approach to it. So where Marcus and the UNI, no one will leave nobody out. But at the same time, we have to build the processes and the mechanisms to facilitate everybody. So we could say should and could, but until we actually get up and do, we can sit there talking forever, you know. So it's a lot of interfacing, but first of all, in order for us to be effective in anything we're doing, we have to develop the human capacity to do it, which means we have to develop the skills and expertise amongst ourselves to be able to accomplish what we want. So if we're saying we want to provide healthcare, we have to prepare ourselves to be providers of healthcare, which means we have to develop the human capacity. So if we're saying we're champions of repatriation, we got to develop the human capacity to meet that objective by identifying the areas in which we have to find expertise to work. So a lot of time we just get caught in these philosophical arguments that lead to nowhere and don't focus on the work, you know. So just encourage everyone to keep doing their part and keep learning, man, you know. So more we know, the more we can grow.
Natural, my Lord. Yes, I. So now to the hands, Jah Winston, my Lord, you can unmute yourself, and then I know Prophet, I know Jah, and Empress Akosu will be next. Jah Winston.
Give thanks again, my Lord, for the reason. That is why I say from a long time saying that we have to go in and start to set the city, start to set the community, not just setting it because we can set it. We have to remember this Sabbath. The land is holy, so we can't forget the meditation and the thing in a rush for Africa because it's a one to other, you know, because you don't enough might see the prophecy fulfilled same because of the ways and all things same, but it's a one to other. Although they're on a set mission, we still is a one to other. But I could think about the people them who actually have the skills and the authority to go in and to have that right. You have to start to set your supermarket and grocery store and all these things. That is where I have I gender to go in Africa and do same way. So we are on the voyage right now going forward. We're up on the mountain top and right now we're only praying to clear up the way so that the black sons and daughters among Zion can step forward. So we're just praying right now, meditating for the 40th chant coming soon. So meditation is just about praying now for and for us to get what we want. Because King Emmanuel done set it in where now we have to fulfill the word, you know. The man show us in the beginning the word and the word is God. Because the man say he is God, you know. So, you know, so we have to come and fulfill such prophecy, you know. So it's a teaching. So we're trying to get in Africa, not just to get in Africa, but with our commandment and our liberty. You know, as Bobo Shanti community, we have to live. The woman have to know, you know, the principle same within the child, you know, and the man have to know the principle within the child, and the Empress gates and the, you know, the male gate same way. So we have to set all these things within the community. We can't just go in Africa and pack up in one house and know the Empress time for she journey same way we stay cringe up there. So we have to prepare ourselves. Marcus say, if you're traveling, you prepare from January till December, and then you travel. We can't run go travel just so. So if it have to take with 2 years for the forum reasoning and putting funds together, we know when we go forward, we're going to do something great, for not just for we and the forum, but for all people, especially Black people, my Lord. Give thanks again for the reasoning. Give thanks for being here. Give thanks to the prophet and the priest and the Empress, my Lord. I hope the best for the future. But I license builder and architect same way. We're looking for go forward and not just set for ourselves, because we more meditate on industrial machines, you know, and these things to go forward same way. So we're just working towards building that, you know, so that the Congress could have something. So if the item could like contribute a lot of material to Jah Winston, I just say, you know, if they them can contribute a lot of material, you know, to Jah Winston, ship it come here, I can put the furnitures and them in the store. Now, when I work, I don't work for no small papers, my lad. I work for like 22, over $100 and something thousand, and all these prices what I did. Even when my furniture is like 5,000 a tray set, and them category I did to the store. So I say now, try and I come set in the whole area there for Bobo Shanti. If you ain't contributing money, you contribute material so that the Congress could have something to go in Africa where, you know, we say we have a business. So we're going in Africa, we're not just, you know, talking a business, but we have people employed. Like, you know, we have something to go in with as a nation of people. And Bobo Shanti can do it, because we keep Sabbath and we keep 40 days and we hold principle. So I know we can do it. So we go talk now for reason's sake here, just to get things in certain position, you know. And as the Empress same way, as I show you can't die in a spa. King Emmanuel said we can't die in a spa, you know. You versus repatriation, same way. I just fulfilling certain words of Emmanuel, same way, you know. And we don't know says more life and more prosperity and more salvation. We ain't going in there because of I and I going to live. We're going to teach the people them. We must get to the government and to the education field at any community within, whether Ghana, South Africa, anywhere, see we must get to the education field. And we must sit in classroom and talk with the youth and them about repatriation, about I and I God and King and all these things. Because that's what we're doing at the West. King Emmanuel teach 6 months and go home. You know, so that's what we do in the West. We have to teach the youth and them, my Lord and Empress. So we give thanks to ones and ones we're doing. But ones and ones we did it, must start to go to the schools and them. Start to try to get themselves to the schools, to the youths them, you know, to the government affair. And we will move far from them, my Lord. Give thanks again for the reasoning. More love and life, my Lord. More strength.
Honorable. Give thanks, my Lord. Prophet, I know Jah. That is next, my Lord. You can unmute thyself.
Blessed love, my Lord and Empress. Yeah, yes, Honorable Priest Dougie. I have not too much questions, but maybe I'll try bring it to 3 questions. Have the Honorable ever heard about the Joseph Project, where the Ghana government did come? Well, I was in the St. Thomas, United States Virgin Island when that came about. That's one question. If you're familiar with the Joseph Project, that the Ghana government did come to the West, saying that, you know, exempt visa, those who have skills could come home. And I think, to the Empress a reason earlier, it was around before the 50th Jubilee or the 50th anniversary of their independence. You see it? That's one. Does it have any Bobo Shanti businesses like Bobo own? Like, Bobo Shanti owned businesses in Ghana? And is the government of Ghana, knowing that you mentioned that Bobo Shanti have land, that means the land is for Bobo Shanti, the 40 acres, could members get land under the good relations with the government? Give thanks, Honorable Priest, my lord.
Okay. Yes, the one that I remember, the question I remember right off is if Bobo have businesses in Ghana. Again, like I said, the Empress had started an internet cafe. I don't know if that is still running. I know that her husband, Priest Bud, he is a farmer with his farm, and he's into his farming deeply. There's also Priest Turks there. Priest Turks runs a business called Bobo Venture, where he's into land acquisition and development and resale and so forth. So there are different businesses there, because we don't have a great population there. So the fact that we have at least 3 known businesses existing right now in the space, applaud the brethren them who are there trying their best to hold it together. Like I said, without any major support coming from the West, except for from their personal space. The first question.
The Joseph Project from the Ghana government?
My lord. Yes, the Joseph Project. Yes, I do. I'm very familiar with it. It's the returning, it's returning through the gate of return, where they renamed the door of no return to the door of return, the gate of return. And with that, like you said, there were certain exemptions and certain incentives for I to return. Now, again, I said this first week, and I'm going to reiterate it. Without structure, we can't take opportunity of these, possibilities. There are many programs out there from which we can benefit that doesn't compromise our principles and our integrity, but to maximize, the potential of those opportunities, we have to have structure, So that is one of our biggest hurdles in anything. Yes, the Joseph Project exists, and it was not just limited to Ghana, because Senegal itself had become part of that whole process. And the governments of Africa are Rastafari friendly. It is Rastafari who is messing up our reputation by not being able to interface with them in the way that they thought that we would be. Places like Tanzania right now, you want to go home and you want to succeed, Tanzania is a very friendly place. And it's stable. The culture, the African culture is still there. And I notice that we always emphasize the fact that we are going home to teach. I need us to also emphasize the fact that we need to go home to learn too,
Sure, my lord.
I want to know who was taken away, who lost their identity. Was it the African who never left the continent, or was it the enslaved Africans who lost that identity? Now, we are blessed to have Dada, who has risen our Christ consciousness and has taught us who we are and pointed us back in the right direction. But the character of what an African is, we still have to go learn. We need to be an open-minded people when we go to Africa, and not have this dogma and this closed-mindedness that we are only going there. We are the saved ones, and we are the children of this and all these things we pour on ourselves.
Each one.
And we come like missionaries.
That is it. We are going home to our family, to interface with our family and learn, just like how we teach. What is valuable to Africa, we will share.
Sure.
Because some of what we know here are what we use here. We don't want in Africa, you know, some of the mindset and the way of thinking that the West has taught us. We don't want in Africa. That's why Marcus said we have to look through the Ethiopian spectacle.
Sure.
So we have to go relearn what it is to be an African. That is part of the repatriation process.
Sure.
You understand? So I need us to think that way too, and not just think that we alone know everything and going home to dominate. And because that will build what I have seen happen. And I've seen it happen. In Ethiopia, it has happened. It has caused some form of a rift where we carry this condescending attitude, like we are talking down to the African in Africa when we are some ones coming home from out of bondage. You understand? We're coming to communicate with our brother and sister, to listen to them as much as we speak to them.
Knowledge found in the simplest place, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
Give thanks for it.
You mentioned Tanzania is the only country that never had a civil war, which is a big point, you know. I love Tanzania. It's a beautiful country.
Beautiful country.
Yes, Honorable Empress Akosua had her hand up next. Empress, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Yes, I. Art of love. Greetings. Give thanks again.
Yes, I.
Rastafari, Empress Menenai. Okay, me here, being in Africa, me and my family, I am a fashion designer. So when I came here with the knowledge to develop, to build my own clothing line, not to empower myself alone, because the business what I'm in is a multi-billion business. Where I'm gonna be in, well, already from I came here already, I like 4 person already work with me, but not getting the support. Because from we came here, all we doing is putting in, nothing coming back in. We purchased like 10 acres of land here. My kingmen already start farming, you know, and we give you know, some local, some job. But when we came here, you know, we didn't have the knowledge of how things work and how much you have to give them, but we started to give them like 200 CD a week. You know, but not knowing that they're gonna, you know, look at us like we probably fool or something like that, you know, because it's like, no one, the system does not treat them like that. You see?
Mm-hmm.
They don't treat them like that. What they are working for here, to me, I don't think they could survive off of that. So we, from the diaspora, could come together and not only empower ourselves, empower the people too as well. So that way we don't keep, a lot of people have to keep going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they have to keep going back and forth because of not having an established, even if the business is established, ones from the diaspora too could help support the business. And not only that, we could hire more locals as well too, you know, and teach them, and they could teach us too as well.
Yes, I.
You know, so right now I'm sitting in my era right here, Royal Empire Design. Yes, from I start doing this, I've gave more than I receive. You know, but I'm still thankful. I'm still upholding the mission, yes, and I am a family too. We do all Sabbath. You know, I'm usually Chad Bobo from Philadelphia, from America. Yeah, we go Naya Bingi same way. We just neutral, Rastafari, Empress Menenai, Holy Emmanuel I, Marcus Garvey I. You see? So, you know, ain't no reason for us to censure each other. You see, we have to see if you see a brother our sisters going on a wrong way, it's best for us to really pull them up. Because you don't know what's in a one heart or soul. You don't know one journey. That's why I stop pointing fingers and start pointing it at myself. And that's how I'm in Africa. Because I find myself, find Rastafari, America been oppressing me and my children. They even take away my big child before. They even killed my baby in 2019. What was in the womb. My journey in America. So me never run come to Africa. Babylon can't conquer me. And will never conquer me. I don't know the journey of I in America, through me gonna know myself as a Black woman. And me don't want no more wig. Me don't want to no false here. Want to be me, Black woman, embrace myself, my natural beauty. So America ate that. So I went on and started teaching, and I started telling the youths them about Haile Selassie and tell them that Black people are the real Jew. And they sent police at my house 14 years ago to take away my son. But through the powers of His Imperial Majesty, they could have conquered me. I'm pregnant with my daughter. I was smoking, not knowing the system. They come off of me, conquer them again. This time, with my last baby, my two last children, I never smoked. Because I don't want to give America a reason to come and take my child. I would not give the system a reason to come for my children. So while during pregnancy, because when I'm pregnant, it helped me feeling better when I want to throw up. You know what I mean? So I have to humble myself and don't smoke. And the system saying that I was smoking while being pregnant with the last child. Come off of me again. You saw it?
Yes,
Lightning and thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And my youth went to Babylon school and let them know that Christopher Columbus did not discover America. So from that is trouble. Yes, I.
Yes, I.
Someone I know say I is true to this mission, and I'm here to serve the item here on this continent. Whatever I can do to help the item here, me and my family is here to do that. So when the item come here, you know what I mean, that no one will mislead the item, because the item Rasta, come here to help the people. They take advantage of that through my experience. You see?
Mm-hmm. The honorable host,
yes,
I would like to ask the Empress a question. My honorable Empress Akosa, give thanks for the eye journey and give thanks for, even letting I know, what the eye go through for reach thus far. Same. I hear you mention earlier about paying your workers like the 200 CDs and thing. So I would like to know, like, what are the proper wages, in Ghana, like, the minimum to the maximum, for workers. If you could disclose that information there for NI, please.
You have to unmute yourself, Empress. Empress, you have to unmute.
Okay, even in this area, teachers get up to 500 CDs a month for salary. So we can come here and open a school, but I don't think we should take advantage, because what the system is doing, I don't think it's right. Even doctors, they probably get even 1,000 CD a month salary.
Mm-hmm.
Give thanks, Honorable Empress,
Yes, I.
And the low end is what?
It all depends, because ones who do taxi driving and stuff like that, they probably make, it all depends.
Mm-hmm.
Even that transportation is a lot of money in transportation here. In this area here where I'm living, I see that there is a park is missing. So that's what I'm working on doing, me and my Kingman, doing a park in this area. And it would be nice if we could have come together in a collectively. There is none of that here for the children, and not only that, the community center where we could teach them.
Yes, I give thanks. Yeah, would love to, not now, but at a different time, ask, and some other ones, like what are some of the best, like what are some of the voids that need to be filled, that we could even start to make a plan. As the priest said, we need to have a good plan that we can present and develop. And
I think first land.
land
and seed.
development.
That's the most important thing.
You mean
Land
like building
and seed.
houses?
Once you have the land, the house is gonna come after the land, seed.
Okay.
It's a lot of stuff where I cannot speak, you know, but
Okay.
with I business here, I'm telling you, it's because right now we are smoke where we plant. Is what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
True. Well, give thanks, Empress. Give thanks for your input.
Harvest right now is Amaton season, it's dry season now.
Okay.
So now it's about to come on to the rainy season. So the rainy season now, the best time now for God. So we getting ready. We have a lot of my Kingman outside he's working right now in his area, doing a lot of plants out there, getting ready for the rainy season.
Yes, sir. Give thanks for the farmer, man. So at this time, you know, we're looking to seal up the reasoning. We're nearing 2 o'clock.
My Kingman want to say one thing.
Okay. Well, we're just giving closing remarks now. So, you know, I ask everybody, we have a lot of participants today and maybe everybody wants to speak. So, you know, just try to keep it relatively short and sweet, short and spicy. And yeah, we'll go through and then we'll seal up.
Here's a lot of, no, keep it quick. Tell him what you have to say. You lose your time.
Yeah, losing that.
Oh, it's okay. Him losing strength. He came outside and I work on the plants them.
Okay.
Yes,
true.
I.
But we'll reason again some other time. Give thanks for the item presence. So yes, you know, everybody, closing remarks. Anyone have anything they want to say? Now is the time in closing, and then we'll say a prayer and be on our way. I will start first. I guess you know, repatriation is a big topic with a lot of different facets. You know, a lot of different things that need attention. You know, it's not just the movement of people, but it's also the mentality. There's the government to government aspect, sending the right people, our infrastructure, you know, as a Congress, the way we work together as a network, you know, from the east to the west, but also while we're here, working together is very important. You know, our Congress needs a parliament, our Congress needs a committee, all these different things. We need ambassadors. We need ones on the land doing, you know, agitating to the governments, communicating with them, establishing good rapport. We need the ones on the land that go to behave themselves properly, to not give us all a bad name, to spoil it for those who haven't made it yet. You know, a whole bunch of aspects, you know. So this is just a study group, you know, but hopefully going forward, we'll see more action, you know, and more intensive reasoning, you know, because each one of the little topics that we touched today is a whole topic in itself, you know, and one study group, 2 study groups can't cover the whole thing, but, you know, at least we got a lot of it covered, and I think we did a good job. So I give thanks for everybody's, you know, addition to the reasoning. Everybody's perspective is honored, you know, even though it may seem like I might have opposing views, that's all right too, you know. We all have our own, you know, thoughts and our own journey, and all of it is relevant, you know. So give thanks for everyone and everything that's been said, you know, and give thanks for all that will be said and done towards repatriation going forward. Yes. Yeah, the floor is open. If nobody don't raise their hand or nobody don't speak, I'll just ask the priest to say a prayer. Prophet Kalaki, my Lord, you can go through.
Heart of love to your family, my Lord and Empress. Our loved ones in Christ Jesus. Heart of love.
My Lord.
Yes, my Lord. Give thanks for such reasoning going forward on our words, my Lord. You know, any wide view of this topic, my Lord, you know, which is repatriation. You know, representation is a serious part of where we talk about, my Lord, because this is an international move, you know. For the poor and the have-nots, not only those who could move through still, you know. Give thanks to such pioneers from the leave the west to go to the east, you know, to create a way for us, you know. Give thanks for all those who will in. You know, the Royal Empress reason, give thanks. You know, but Representation, my Lord, is a great factor because it's not only I and I as Bobo Shanti, but it have 12 tribes, it have the Bingi people and them who, you know, and I come like vanguards now, you know, to for repatriation from since that time. So, you know, the Rasta people, my Lord, the Rasta nation is what have to come and deal with this as being people who was always at the forefront fighting for repatriation while the other people in the world was asleep, my Lord, at a certain level, my Lord. Rasta never sleep. Rasta stay agitating for my leaders, my Lord, and whether what denomination, Bobo 12, wherever, my Lord, and I stay fighting for redemption and international repatriation. So press along, saints, my Lord, the battle have to be won. You know, so the most high. So that's the Jah, that's the Father, love to the family, my Lord.
Give thanks, my Lord. Prophet Jasik, my Lord, you can speak, Honorable.
Yeah, just to seal up, you know, give thanks for the moment gone by, you know. The one with a few words of the Black Christ, you know. I gather my seed from the east and my sons and daughters from the west. I will say unto the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Send my sons from afar, and my daughters from the ends of the earth, even everyone that is called by my name. Holy Emmanuel I. So that's the Jah. Rastafari. Heart of love, my Lord, Empress, Prince and Princess. Repatriation is a must, my Lord. Heart of love.
Yes, repatriation is a must.
Oh, yeah.
And as the brethren said, you know, if we're the ones that's supposed to be leading the charge, we need to be more educated on the subject, you know. Yeah, we need to build the capacity within ourselves through proper organization and working together, treating each other right, you know, but also through, you know, learning about the legal aspects of it, you know, immigration laws, costs, procedures, you know, healthcare, all of these different things, you know, stuff we have to take into consideration as we make a plan and as we act towards repatriation. Priest Kareem, my Lord, you can unmute yourself and speak.
My Lord, give thanks again. Yes, I just received a message from Honorable Jadania, you know, who was listening in. My Lord, fortunately, he can't call in, you know, due to his position. Yes, but he was listening and he was saying that for we to, like in Ghana, in terms of the wages, you know, if we decide to like come in and like, you know, change up things, we could cause inflation in the economy, you know, and offset the economy with coming in and changing up the wages, you know. I don't know much about the topic still, you know, but I kind of understand what my lord is saying, you know. I wish he could have called in and really give a better explanation, you know, explain it better for I. Yes. So give thanks for the reasonment again, and yeah, give thanks for everyone, you know, giving their piece. You know, me really learn a lot. Same way too, you know. So give thanks again, Jah Daniel.
My Lord, give thanks, Priest Kareem, for the high presence, the high contribution to the reason the same way, my Lord. Give thanks for Prophet Jardania. My Lord, give thanks for the high contribution same way. If you're watching in YouTube land, strength and powers, Bobo. Next hand is Prophet Winston and then Prophet Joseph.
Hey lad, I didn't get to hear what the Empress say just now about the closing area same way, you know, because my Empress now is a designer, same certified same designer. You know, I never really hear what she's saying and how she proposed for strength within Africa, but
her name on Facebook is Empress is Akosua Selassie, right? Am I right, Goddess?
True, Honorable, my God. Just
hold on. I wanted to hear her answer. So, because you could link her directly and y'all could reason
Yes, I. Goddess Akosua and Akosua Selassie on Facebook.
Okay.
And
So the
you can
item,
find Royal Empire Design on any platform.
Okay.
all right, yeah. So the item can
And
reach
and
her
you could send
directly.
me an email through that too.
Sure.
At gmail.com, Royal Empire Design, join together.
Sure. Sure. Another question before I go forward. How do I take the Sabbath?
Huh?
They
How do I take
already,
the Sabbath?
they stated already that
Sabbath
they
is
keep the
my
Sabbath.
life.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give thanks to the words, Empress. You know,
Yes, sir. If me not hold the Sabbath all the week, I go through for
I just learning
And
off
I
here,
and
you know. I learning from here, you know. You know, each
Yes,
one, each one.
my young stage coming up, you know, I wasn't like, I wanted to be around the rest of them so I could learn. And
Sure.
going to Sabbath, that's when everything come in place for me. I got married.
Sure.
It start
Give
all in
thanks.
Sabbath from back in America. Everything, Sabbath is real. Everything come in place.
Give thanks to
You
the
know, but
powers.
it would
Give
be
thanks.
nice to have more of them here.
Sure. Well, to the idea the same way, then we can link up international, you know, as I said. You know, we can link
And
up.
we need to learn some aim same way. You see?
Yeah, and get certain things done. You know, the bank account, getting the papers together, because we can't do nothing without the funds, you know?
Yes,
So,
I.
the funds,
Yes, I.
the funds is very needed. The more funds we can create, you know, King Emmanuel said, bank it in Africa. So once we have that trust, you know, because it's the trust we need same way, so that we can bank it over there, so that ones and ones can get support when them come in, you know?
Exactly, and that's what's needed. And in this area too, where I'm at, we could have a whole city, like we can build our own town. That's how the land is here. You may not get that in the city, but back in the countryside, we can have we Rasta village, we Rasta town, where we get up our eye and eye where I say.
Give thanks to such powers.
Pretty eye, Honorable Daniel, just a few more seconds. Just a question.
And the land what we bought to is in the mountain, like ill vibes, reals. Oh,
well, the foundation
like
is in the
heaven.
holy mountain. The foundation is in the holy mountain, you know. You see it,
Yes,
so it's
I.
mountain child, you know, because Christ leaded through the wilderness, you know. So I'm sure with
Yes,
them power,
I.
you know.
Pretty eye, Honorable Empress.
Yes, Honorable Empress, out of love.
Heart and love, Honorable Empress, Pretty Eye, Honorable Daniel. Just a few more seconds, because I know Brother Yosef is next. The question is for now, how is the current in the area? Like the actual current, like how is the electricity or the hydro? There's many.
Only thing, the electricity is fine. The only thing is just that it have times when it cut off, but it's not like often, but it does have a time, but it's fine, electricity and water running.
Water, okay.
And you could do your own solar panel too.
Wait, true.
Empress, so you're more in the country, right?
Yes, I.
So how it's possible for we to get to launch ourselves within the city, although we live in the country, you know, the mountain is the Sabbath place. But like to full establish ourselves within the people, meeting the people, and going to the government and reason to the government.
Yes, the city.
Them is the position where we want us coming in as the Congress. We want to able to go to the government and talk to the president.
Yes, we definitely have to set up in the city for that too, because of what, yes.
So
Yes,
even
yes.
though we have to rent a place, even though we have to rent a place within the city, we must have that funds to contribute so that we can move ourselves around easy, you know.
Truly, my Lord.
Yes, I.
Bless him.
So give thanks, Honorable.
Getting a vehicle will be good too for I and I.
Mm-hmm. Give thanks, Prophet Winston and Empress. What's the Empress name? Joe Winston?
Empress Danka.
Okay, give thanks, Empress Danka and Prophet Winston, my Lord, Empress. Prophet Joseph, the eye hand is raised. You can speak, my Lord.
Blessed Lord, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks for the vision, my Lord and Empress. Empress Akosua, give thanks for the vision.
Yes, my Lord, give thanks.
That is really what this Congress really, yeah, I see that we must have our own town, our own city, our own country, our own school, our own everything. because we are a nation and we come, and Africans must go back to Africa as masters of creation. So give thanks for the vision, because Emmanuel, all Emmanuel is about is preparation, preparing ourselves spiritually and temporally to fulfill this mission.
We are more free here to give our eyes. It's more freedom here than in Babylon. It's, oh my God, there's so many peace here for us as Rasta.
Marcus Garvey, Marcus Garvey say Africa is working not only on her feet but on her brains now. So we must put our brains together, our minds, our hearts, and our hands together from here, from the West, and with the strengths of brethren that are already there, brethren and sisters that are already there. And it is not easy, but it's simple, my Lord. It is just love, one and all. Blessed love, family. Give thanks for the reasoning again.
My
Very
Lord,
uplifting.
thanks, Honorable. Sorry. Well, we're looking to seal up now. You know, we're at the 2 o'clock hour. You know, so I would ask Honorable Priest Kasha, my Lord, you there? Priest Jermaine. Okay, if not Priest Jermaine, Priest Kareem, do I mind saying the prayer to seal up the program, my Lord?
Holy Emmanuel,
Selassie,
Jah,
Rastafari.
What a mighty God we serve. We ride upon the cherubim, we ride upon the seraphim, cherubim and seraphim bowing down before him. What a mighty God we serve, Jehovah. Jah, Rastafari. Reverence. All glory be unto our Father.
Glory be unto the Mother, and to the Father, and to the Son.
As Jah was in the beginning, is now and ever shall be, the world without end. So we hail our God, Selassie, Jehovah, God, Jah Rastafari, our Almighty God, Jah Rastafari, great and terrible God, Jah Rastafari is the Almighty God. Jah, who seated in Zion and reign in the hearts of all flesh, who the most eternal Father, Jehovah, God, Jah Rastafari. Hear us and bless us, O Lord, keep and sanctify us all, and cause thine holy face to shine upon us, thy children. We shall be saved and redeemed. O thou most high God, Jah Rastafari. How good and how pleasant it is for brethren and sistren to dwell together in love and unity, like the precious ointment that ran down upon the bed, even Aaron's beard down to the skirts of his garments, as Jove Herman descended upon the mountain of Zion. There the Lord commanded the blessing, even life and love forevermore. So we hail our God, Selassie, Jehovah God, Jah Rastafari, our Almighty God, Jah Rastafari, great and terrible God, Jah Rastafari, is the Almighty God. Jah, who seated in Zion and reign in the hearts of all flesh. O thou most eternal Father, Jehovah God, Jah Rastafari, hear us and bless us, O Lord, keep and sanctify us all, and cause thine holy face to shine upon us, thy children, that we shall be saved and redeemed. O thou most high God, Jah Rastafari. Run, come rally, run, come rally, run, come rally round your throne. Come away, run away from this land. It is a sinking sand. Africa awaits our creators. Freedom Redemption International Repatriation is a must. Under the banners of love, red, black, and green, red, gold, and green, black 5-point star, R and lion symbol. Black man and black woman redemption, joy at night, most high. Selassie, Jah Rastafari. All prosperity, my Lord and Empress.
Worthy God, give thanks, my Lord and Empress. This is the African Liberation Network. I'm the host, Prophet Daniel, and this has been another Bobo Shanti International Study Group on Repatriation. Give thanks for all good things said and done. Give thanks for everyone's presence and everyone's contribution to the reasoning. You know, Jah be with the item, guide us, protect us, going out and coming in from this time henceforth and forevermore. My Lord and Empress, blessed love.
My Lord.
My Lord.